What's up, Flagrant family, and welcome to the show. Guys, it's looking like the end of times out there. We've had an earthquake in New York City. We've had a solar eclipse. There is trouble in conservative paradise. There might be a debate between Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens. And rap beef is no more. What is happening to this world that we are living in?
It's too soft.
Too soft.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the rap beef?
We can.
Okay,
It's
so
sad
clearly there's a lovely, delicious rap beef brewing. Kendrick Lamar sent
Years
some
in the
shots
making.
out. Yeah, a decade, right?
Yeah, probably a decade in the making.
Okay.
End times prophecy of rap beefs.
Yeah.
This is it,
End
dude.
times prophecy of rap beefs. We get to finally see who is number one. Kendrick throws some shots out. It looks like he's just throwing some jabs, trying to elicit a reaction. J. Cole gives him the reaction, and then what happens?
And then he apologized, bro.
Interesting. Give us the context of this apology.
Well, first I got to start. I've never been more wrong.
Yeah, thank you. Al predicted big things at Dreamville, and big things happen. But the opposite way.
Drake's coming out of Dreamville.
That was his WrestleMania.
Thank you
I
for
know,
owning that.
I know,
Thank you for owning
That
that.
was Black people's WrestleMania. They were so excited.
Technically, it was supposed to happen. Something changed. Because I did get a word that he was supposed to go to Dreamville. And probably Cole releasing this little diss track maybe might have changed his plans on that. I don't know.
Oh.
But it was a last minute change that Drake
He
did.
meaning Drake. So Drake was going to
supposed-
go to Dreamville, and
Yeah.
then he's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, he predicted Drake was going to go to Dreamville, drop a diss.
And now Dreamville, for everybody who's watching and is unaware, is a concert that J. Cole throws in his hometown.
Yeah.
Okay, so northeastern North Carolina?
Yes. Yeah.
Greensboro or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that it?
We should know.
So he
I think
throws
so.
a huge concert. I think there's like 50,000 people there, something crazy.
Yeah.
And then he goes on stage, and the video we see is he's apologizing for the.
I've never been so disappointed. Ever.
Okay, talk through it.
So it's like hip hop has always been a competitive thing. Like it's always I'm the best, I'm the top dog.
Yeah.
And finally, we were getting some of that energy again in hip hop. Like we haven't had it for a really
And
long
for
time.
a decade, there had been this debate who's number one between
Yeah.
these three:
Yeah.
Kendrick, Drake, Cole.
Now, there's somebody who said this, and I don't want to, I wish I remembered exactly who, but maybe it was academics, but it was like, you can't pull out of the safest rap beef ever.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are going to kill one another.
Nope.
It's
Yeah.
one thing when people start getting shot, your security's getting murdered, you're like, okay, let's calm this thing down.
Yeah.
This was only going to be bars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alex, continue.
So Cole drops a surprise album on Friday, like a couple days before Dreamville concert. And one of the songs on there, it's 7 Minute Drill,
Yeah.
where he's taking shots at Kendrick. He's responding to That's It by Kendrick's diss track towards him. It was mediocre at best.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like he wanted to beef. Like
Yeah.
it was just like very lackluster. And then 2 days later, he apologized for making this diss track and like, hey, I regret doing this. It didn't feel good. He's losing sleep over it. How do you lose sleep over making a diss track?
Okay, so.
How do you lose sleep over making a diss track?
I've thought about this. So this, I'm going to give,
This is.
I know. I'm going to give, I don't even want to call it pushback. I'm going to give another perspective on this, right? J. Cole has existed around the top three rappers for what, the last 8 years?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years? I don't know. I'm not exactly. But like, has been respected by everybody, loved by everybody, making tons of money, never really beefing with anybody seriously. He's lived like a pretty spiritually high journey in the rap game, which is hard. Think about what Drake got to go through on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Everybody come at his fucking head. Every single person. The young bucks are coming at him. The old dudes are coming at him. Their diss tracks come from every different direction. You got to put a fire out here. You got to put a fire out here. You got to put a fire. That's a stressful fucking life. J. Cole gets to be a hippie, smoke weed. I don't even know if he smokes weed, go help out the community, wear whatever the fuck he wants. Like, he gets to really exist. He's Snapple. Remember when Snapple did that thing like, we're number 3. When you're number 3, you could mess around with flavors. You could make a banana flavored or
I
a
don't
raspberry
remember that,
flavored.
but yeah.
Remember, he's like, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they can't do anything because they're number 1 and 2. But number 3, that's when you get to experiment and have fun. And he has been able to experiment and have fun.
Yeah.
And he is unanimously respected maybe not considered the number one, but to his fans, he's the number one, which is what's really important.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck what the people who aren't your fans think? If your fans think you're number one, you're number one.
Yeah.
But now he's friends with everybody. Now he engages in this beef. He loses the peace. He loses the sanctity. Maybe he loses what he really wants. Maybe he doesn't care about being unanimous number one in the way Drake does. That's probably Drake's dream, is I need to be the greatest rapper ever. Maybe what he likes is his position in the game. He likes being Snapple. And the second he start to feel the pressure of being Coke, he was like, fuck this, I'm out.
I would agree with you if he hasn't for the past 3 years been saying he's the best, he's number one.
But like
he's been saying it more and more
Yeah.
and actually starting to believe it. And
Yeah.
he's actually been rapping his ass off.
no, he's so nice.
So it's like, I don't know. It's like you can't just keep going for the spot.
Snapple's better than Coke. Like it is.
No.
Son, it's like Coke
Better than
is,
Diet Coke at
Son,
DC?
Come on.
Okay, here's the thing. DC, let me get there. Let me get there. A DC
Talking out of
without
your
lemon,
I know.
a DC
Talking out
without
of your
lemon
ass.
is nothing. A DC without lemon is sludge. A DC without lemon is poison. If I don't have a lemon that I can put in a DC, it's not even a DC. A DC shouldn't even be sold without lemon. It's a straw, a napkin, and a lemon should come with every single
Coke
DC.
in the glass bottle. You're anywhere outside of America, fire, crazy.
First of all, now
incredible.
you're taking me internationally.
But that's
The
what it's
fact that
supposed
you
to
need
be.
to create a caveat that's international just shows me that you don't believe in Coke in America.
That's the real Coke. It's just the sugar. That's it.
Which country are you loyal to? Hey, listen here, Ben Shapiro. Which country does your true loyalty lie? Oh, a Mexican Coke is way better than a regular
At least
Coke.
I'm stepping out of my Overton window. At least I'm stepping out of my Overton window. Where you at?
Okay, take that right-wing Twitter and have some fun with it for a week. But
a warm Snapple is like a quarter water. Like it's not good at all.
Oh yeah, okay. Now you're bringing temperature into this.
Yeah,
whole
I mean,
thing?
you
What the
brought
fuck
you
is
brought
that?
lemon.
Like, yeah, if you
brought
come
lemon.
into a Snapple, it
Yeah, it
sucks.
tastes
It's
like
what?
Yeah,
He brought
it's a
lemon
little
into it. How
salty
you
and
bring
fermenting.
You're adding
Listen,
to the flavor.
we're assuming refrigeration on all beverages.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is, which I
is still
thought was our
better.
baseline. I like how this started as rap beef, and we're like, let me tell you what the best drink in the world. What's the most refreshing? Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, maybe J. Cole preferred his position of being beloved by everybody, respected by everybody, and then not bearing the weight of a beef. The weight of a beef is heavy.
I think maybe he wanted.
Yeah.
I agree with Al. He did say he wanted to be number one. Maybe when he
Without
got there,
actually doing
But
it.
I think when he,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like in rap, sorry to cut you, but like you get to say your number. Everybody says their number.
Everybody says their number
I got
one.
the most bitches. I make the most money. I got it.
but he was doing it. To Al's point, he was the best. But I think when he started to get there, now everybody's seeing you as number one, and then they start shooting at you at number one. Heavy as the head towards the crown. You're like,
Yeah.
hey man, take that.
But also,
I don't want it.
You got to talk
Take
shit
that.
about.
Is that possible?
You
I'm
got
not
to talk
saying
shit about
sure.
someone. Like,
It's
What do you mean?
possible, but you don't make the diss track then.
but like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think in order to be, quote unquote be number one, he has to talk shit about someone that he respects and admires.
Yeah.
and that sucks. And
Yeah.
I think he probably went to bed being like, "Why the fuck did I do this? Like,
Yeah.
why am I like engaging in this like petty nonsense?"
For what? So that the casuals who don't think I'm number one can now think I'm number one?
Yeah, I mean, he says that. He goes, "I want to protect my peace," and I was like, "Yeah, that's far."
I don't know. His peace wasn't disturbed after first person shooter when he makes a fucking banger where he's saying, hey, I'm Muhammad Ali out of these three guys. But now when he drops a weak diss track, now all of a sudden my peace is disturbed.
I'm not
He's
into
talking
this.
shit.
I'm not into what he did.
Muhammad
as a
Ali's
fan.
not the greatest boxer ever. I just. You know,
He's like the Snapple of boxers.
Yeah, he's
right?
the Snapple of boxing. It's the one we all like the most. It's the one we enjoy the most.
It has the best
Floyd
quotes.
Mayweather's the greatest
It has the
boxer
best
ever.
quotes.
I don't think
ever.
he wrote that thinking I'm not the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't think he wrote that. I don't think that was his intention when he wrote
No,
it.
and again, I don't know if that's intention, but even the way I interpret it, he's the most beloved. There's not one person that doesn't love Muhammad Ali. But true boxing enthusiasts will say that he wasn't the greatest
But as
boxer
just a
ever.
rap fan listening to a rap song, he's saying he's the greatest.
Sure.
But he doesn't shit on anyone.
But that's the one thing, the only thing he did that was kind of, I remember thinking in the moment, I was like, oh, this feels a little. He says the big three, me and Kendrick or whatever, and then when he says the Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake, I do remember being like, oh, you kind of left Kendrick out of that. But I think he was trying to do the J. Cole thing, to be fair to him, where he's like, hey, we're all great. I'm the best because we're doing the rap thing, but
Yeah.
I'm making sure everybody feels good about
Yeah.
themselves. And that's just not, dude, we're just old, I think. We're like, I'm almost 40. I'm looking at this. I want the rappers to be what I grew up with. I think kids are just not like that as much anymore.
Nah,
they're like
just-
therapized
nah.
and well-adjusted.
There's some kids.
Some.
not even close. It's just not in rap. It's in streaming. If you want real beef, you got to go to streaming. That's where the real beef is. On rap, you're not gonna find no real beef.
Okay, well, I'm 40 again, so I'm not.
Yeah, you fucking loser. Watch some. Come on, brother. Watch some streams. Let's see some real beef. Okay, come on, Turbo Special Team. Come on, brother. We need some real beef from you, J. Cole. You need some real beef. No,
He was. He was definitely that.
I respect it.
Here's the thing. I understand where he's coming from, and selfishly, you just want carnage, right?
Yeah, he wants to see black men fight. That's what
you want to see. You want to see black men fight.
Spar.
That's true. Black men love boxing.
Yeah,
That's just
come on, a
about
nice little slap box. You know, that's
Why
just
can't we
fun
see
with
black
your
men
friends.
love each other? Why can't they just love
There's
each
a
other?
lot of
That's
that
white
too.
boy.
Go to
That's
Atlanta.
like,
Go Diddy,
that's
but
like
what if they
dick
just-
punches and shit like that? We don't wanna
go to
see that
Atlanta.
Shit. We don't want to see that shit. Come on.
You want to see real. You want to see real blood.
Yeah.
You want to see bloodshed.
No, I think we want to see someone come out of this and be like, oh, that's the guy.
Yes.
I think that's what we want. We want a champion.
What we got out of this is now knowing who's not the guy.
Yes.
Does that ever
Cole
happen
can
though?
never be
Does
the
that
guy.
ever happen in a rap beef where like?
Yeah.
So Nas is the guy.
No, but he clearly
It's like-
won the battle.
There's no question
and
who won.
Drake and Meek. Drake clearly won the battle. Meek can never be that guy after that. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, this person is better than you when you guys battle each other.
Even Push clearly beat Drake, even if Drake is great.
Nobody even remembers.
Whatever.
So then it doesn't prove who the guy is.
People remember that. People
you
remember.
know who didn't forget it?
Hold on. Make that.
But like everyone knows the ether beat. Like everyone knows like yo Nas body Jay Z. But then it's like Jay Z's still the guy.
Yeah.
But
So it doesn't prove anything.
Let him make
here's
his
the
point.
gap.
Yeah.
The gap between Jay-Z and Nas, way bigger. And I don't mean in terms of rap skill, but just accolades and sales and everything and duration. Way bigger than the gap between Cole, Kendrick, Drake.
But the point is, at the
I see.
time, it wasn't. And then Nas won, and Jay-Z got here. So despite losing, he still got here. So to Mark's point, it doesn't really decide. All it does is decide for that moment. With Pusha and Drake, it decided for that moment, and then Drake just went here, and now we don't really know what Pusha's doing. So it doesn't really decide anything. It helps us. We enjoy it. We like to chew on it. It's nice and fatty, but the reality is it doesn't really dictate career.
I do think at this level, they've been in the game so long. I do think, I mean, how old is J. Cole? He's in his mid-30s. He could keep going. He could. But I think when it's this close, we're talking tiebreakers. Maybe a beef is like a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And I think this was the tiebreaker because we see them here and we've seen them here for 10 years now.
Here's the thing. I never, and this is with all due respect to J. Cole, I've never seen him in that. I don't see Kendrick there. It's Drake, and that's it. And there's a big drop off after Drake. And that's it. And J. Cole, I think, is so beloved and respected and thought of as like a nice guy. And then every time he does a feature, you're like, is this guy the best rapper on the fucking planet? You're like, this is incredible. He's just so skilled at the thing and so loved that you're like, yeah, I think he's up there. But he's not really.
I mean, if you're only going by sales, then I can see what you say
No,
that.
not sales.
But in terms of like musical ability and how they craft albums, they all make amazing
No, they're
albums.
all masterful at their craft.
like-
Don't get me wrong, they're all masterful at their craft. I'm talking about like cultural impact. Like even Kendrick, might come out, drop, and then it's a big explosion for a little bit. It's like a streaming show. It's like he comes out, there's a season of it, everybody's consuming it, and then after that, we take a break from Kendrick. Whereas like Drake, it's just omnipresent. It's you walk into fucking H&M, it's gonna be Drake. You walk into the club, it's gonna be Drake. You're at the fucking airport, it's Drake. It's just everywhere. It's inescapable.
This isn't a perfect analogy because the show I'm going to compare the artist to put out more content, but it's like Drake is Friends, Kendrick is Curb. Larry David comes out with a season whenever he kind of feels like coming out with a season. Now he's put out like 12 seasons over 30 years or whatever, but Friends, bangers consistently, but you kind of know what you're getting. And it kind of is what it is. It's good. I love that show. It's great. Curb is its own thing. Comparing the two is tough, but you're like, those are all-time great shows.
So there's
Both
maybe
of
like
them.
more density to
Yes.
a Kendrick album.
Yes.
And that's reflective over the fact that like it takes him
Yeah.
several years to put together, while Drake, it might take him several months to put together.
Kendrick's putting out a piece.
Right.
This is a piece.
Wow.
It's art. It is what it is. However we feel about it, that is, he put everything into this for years, and that's the project. Drake will give you consistent bangers, and they're not going to hit this level of artistry, but them motherfuckers are going to consistently hit you.
You just
Now-
translate into the white, bro. I appreciate
Hey,
that.
thank you.
I'll be honest. Yeah, but I'll be honest. Like, do y'all listen to Kendrick? Do you put it on?
I don't put it on. I don't put
I
on
do
Drake.
a little bit, but definitely not as much of Drake. But I do listen to
Yeah,
Kendrick.
I don't.
I put on J. Cole features out of all these three the most.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to London. After 7 Minute, I was like, that was cool. Let me listen to London. And I was like, this shit is so crazy.
That London song is so incredible.
It's insane.
Yeah. But now we're talking about Cole. I guess what I'm saying is
We all just like carnage. We want to see him.
You wanna
battle.
see
That's
it. You wanna see
We pay
it.
to see fucking YouTubers box. We can't see a fucking rap beat.
But also,
bro.
this is a
No.
friendly. And
but now we're getting what we actually wanted. I don't think anybody wanted to see J. Cole and Drake go against Kendrick together. That's a 2-on-1. If anything, J. Cole separates himself, maintains his relationship with both guys. They get to all dap up when they hang out. Everybody still likes J. Cole. He gets to do features for everybody. He doesn't live with the beef or looking over his shoulder. Drake is used to that. He's like, this is going to be my life. I'm looking over my shoulder. I got security. I got, hood dudes over here who got my back. I'm partnered up with these dudes in Houston, these dudes in Toronto. Like, I'm set up. So he's used to that fucking life. Whereas J. Cole's like, I don't think I want that life. I don't want to look over my fucking shoulder.
Yeah.
And not like he would have to in this
No,
scenario.
it just sucks. I genuinely think like if you, in order to get where you want in your career, had to shit on someone you really admired and respected, how would you feel?
Well, that's how I felt last week with Ben Shapiro. Like, if you look throughout my career, like, I've really, like, loved, respected, and admired him.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, it's not like I've ever made fun of him for the last decade.
No, just two Jews in solidarity.
Yeah, we were together, and I've just, every chance I had, like, tried to talk about what a genius this guy is and how amazing he is at debate and how much I love his political opinions. You know what I mean? Like, that, if you actually look at my discography, you know what I mean? If you look at what I've done on this platform, you will see unanimous support.
I
for
had
this.
a point that I forgot. I don't remember.
The point that you're trying to make is the greatest beef between a black person and a Jewish person is not Drake versus Kendrick. Okay? It's Candace and Ben Shapiro.
Yo,
and
that's
we
fire.
put that on the map.
Yeah.
We made that happen. It's going down.
Yeah.
Okay?
You need to moderate.
And I'm backing out like J. Cole. I don't want nothing to do with it. Guys, beef is toxic. I don't want anything to do with it. Okay? This is too much pressure. It's too much pressure.
Oh my
Yo, you
god!
really did ignite right with Twitter though.
Bro, it was crazy. I opened up Twitter, every single thing. I mean, every different community is using me in whatever way suits them. It is a
I saw
forest fire out
I
there.
saw almost exclusively praise. I don't know what you're seeing, but I saw almost exclusively people being like, "Thank you, we can finally hate Jews."
Exactly. Yeah. It was praise for shit you don't want to be praised for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to get to the bottom of this. I got to figure out. Yeah, I just think,
You wouldn't moderate?
here's the thing.
Rap battle? Maybe.
I would moderate the rap battle if they did it through rap.
There's a greater chance for violence in this beef than any of the rap beefs.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is gonna
Yo,
end poorly.
that's an interesting one. Moderate the debate between Candace and. So what do I ask them? Jews? How do you feel about that? What are the
Open-ended.
questions that you want? What are the questions you want them to speak on? Just like, what are your opinions on Israel? Don't they both know?
Yeah, I feel like they've already said that.
They both said their opinions, so now they're going to debate the efficacy of their opinions.
Yeah, that is debate.
But is that it? So both of them are claiming that the other person is not being genuine or honest or truthful in their opinions about Israel and Palestine.
No, I think it's whose views are superior is the point of a debate. You take
See-
two high-level people on two issues, on one divisive issue.
Yeah.
Two high-level people on both sides of that issue, have at it, and then the person who wins that side is like, fuck you and your opinions. Y'all are wrong, we're right.
See,
Just
that's
describing a debate.
yeah, he's describing debate. But
That's why
they did a good job.
Yeah,
it was a good job.
But you said, what do we want?
No,
out of
no,
this?
no.
It's a debate. That's the nature of a debate. What do we
Listen, that was really good what you did. It was pointless, but it was really good.
What was the question?
Listen, a rap beef is when two rappers will have bars against one another,
Hey,
and then the audience will decide which one is more.
What do we want out of this
Just
debate?
that's
That's
what
what we want.
No. What I meant was what do we want them to actually talk about? For example, for me, the interesting thing would be why she's no longer working there. So it's not
Okay.
like what are your opinions on
I don't
Israel
think- yeah,
Palestine?
okay.
It's was she fired because of Israel opinions? Was she fired because she just had these absurd stories that she was reporting as if they were truth? Like
Right.
what is the extent of the Overton window? He
Yeah.
talks about this Overton window. We don't know if it's because her journalism was just so salacious that he's like, you can't even publish this. This is ridiculous. Or if it's, hey, you're not speaking about Israel in the way that I like.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to clip you. To me, that is more interesting.
Yeah.
Than having the same debate about Israel-Palestine that I've heard a million fucking times. If I have to see Norman Finkelstein go over and over again, I'm going to blow my fucking head off.
We know Bridget McCrone's a dude. We don't need to debate.
get it!
Yeah, we don't need a debate.
I don't need anybody explain to that. You can't be the president's wife unless you got dick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know that. You know that.
Can't talk about Melania like that.
Whoa. I mean, if Melania was trans,
Yeah.
I'm gobbling. Let me just tell you something. If Melania's trans, I'm gobbling. With all due respect. With all due respect to Uncle TT, you can't tell me you're not gobbling if she's trans.
I can tell you I'm not gobbling.
You're not going to suck a ball or 2 or 3? Yo, you don't know what she got. She from Chernobyl, bro. You know what she got down there. She might got the triplets. What I'm trying to say is, if Melania got a dang-a-lang, I'm gobbling. With all due respect to Trump.
Nah.
Son, do you see how big Barron Trump is? You can't get there without double testosterone. You need both sides.
Why do you got this?
Nah, you acting crazy right now, Mark.
Who is that?
Mark, you acting
They
crazy.
actually kind of
Yo,
low-key
that's
look
crazy
alike.
side by side. That's side by
Caitlyn
side.
Jenner
Wow.
asked for Mark's forehead. Caitlyn showed a picture of Mark's forehead and said, "Give me that."
Yo, Melania is trans.
Yo, stop. Why every president's
Now you
wife
know.
gotta be trans? Why every president's wife gotta be trans? Now y'all like trans?
Yeah. Doesn't it hurt when the president, you lose one?
Yo. First of all, shout out to Derek Poston for, you never like trans, you just like first ladies. Okay, Derek? You never like trans women, you like first ladies.
That's what that means. At first, they were ladies. That's why they call it that, dude.
Listen, she's beautiful. He's beautiful. Whatever. They're beautiful. They are fucking
Big
beautiful.
Milo over there.
Yo, they're beautiful, son. Stop it. You're saying you wouldn't take a sniff? You wouldn't just sniff it down? You wouldn't put it in your hand like this and just go,
I kind of want to know what trans pussy smell like.
hey, put your hand down your pants. Scratch and sniff, my boy.
All I goes.
That's it. You know exactly what it smells like. You've been smelling it for 35 years, okay? It can't change smells, right?
I mean, I assume it smells new or something.
Yeah, new car scent.
Like a sports store or something. I don't know, like a Modell's. Like it kind of smells like rubbery.
Dude.
You know that smell?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a catcher's mitt.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a Rawlings.
Yeah.
Pussy
Yeah.
should smell like Rawlings.
Yeah, exactly. The new one. The new
Dude,
one.
nice new Rawlings.
Yeah.
Before you put that
Before you
ball
break
in
it
it.
in?
Yeah.
Before you put the rubber band on
The
the
art of fish.
Oh.
The art of fish, dude.
Put it in a microwave a couple seconds.
You put it in a microwave?
Yeah, that helps soften it.
That makes sense, actually.
Bro, I did so much dumb shit with my soccer cleats when I was a kid.
What'd you do?
They'd always be like, okay, you got to wear them in the shower.
Oh, and then they kind of mold to your
That was
feet?
like what they said. I don't know if that shit worked at all, but I was like 14 years old, just butt ass naked with soccer cleats.
Did it really bother you?
like I was filming porn. Or something.
Was it really uncomfortable for you to get in the shower? Was that something?
Yeah, that was the worst part.
That's how they convince him to
like-
shower. I had to check him with soccer cleats. No, the best way.
Dude, your touch will be so good. I'm like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, it is. You're just trying to balance jerking off in soccer cleats in a shower. Dude, that's terrifying.
Yeah, my touch
then
was
the
so
coach-
sticky, bro. It was
And then
crazy.
the coach is like, oh, here, I got to wash your feet now.
Yeah.
You didn't get no water.
Oh.
That is crazy, dude.
Do they
How's
know
that
about
weird,
this?
dude?
This might be on a Patreon episode. Mark admitted that his coach molested him and his teammates when he was a
All right,
child.
whoa. Don't give that out for free. Okay, you got to subscribe.
Patreon.com/flagrant. If you want to know how we're all molested, you sign up right there. Okay? Alex's story's coming next. Okay. Listen, so basically the point is
They need to debate, and you're going to moderate.
I'm going to moderate the debate between Kendrick and J. Cole.
Yes.
And Candace and Ben. Life Tour. Charlotte, we added a second show April 13th, okay? Following weekend, we have Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry House or the Opry House. I'm not exactly sure what it's called these days, but you know what it is. Then we got the Moody Center in Austin, and then we got Phoenix. We added a second show in Phoenix. Go get those. TheAndrewSchultz.com. There's more cities. They're up on the website. Thank you guys so much. Texas, 14,000 people. That was fucking unreal. Houston, Dallas, God bless you. That was just amazing. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, very soon, MSG, New York City, we're about to do it, man. I cannot fucking wait. Now let's get back to the show.
Listen up, noodle dicks. I've used that once before already, but I like it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Gaslit is at 1.9 million views, and it's hitting 1 month today, the day this drops. So guys, let's get it to 2 million. Tell everybody you know. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Let's get it to 2 million views on YouTube today. It's already at 1.6 on X or Twitter, whatever the fuck it's called. So thank you guys so much. Also, tour dates. This week, I'm going to be in Tempe, Arizona at the Improv. Tickets are still available for that. Next week, December 18th through 20th, I'm going to be at Comedy Works in Denver. May 10th, tickets are sold out for Los Angeles. I'm sorry. May 31st and 1st, we just added a few dates. So we're going to St. Louis then. June 7th and 8th, Indianapolis. June 21st and 22nd, Raleigh. June 28th and 29th, Buffalo. So, guys, check out all those dates at akashsingh.com. And please check out Gaslit. Let's get to 2 million on YouTube today. Thank you guys so much. Now let's get back to the show.
I don't know enough about Candace's stuff, right? I know that, like, she said one of the funniest things ever, which was when she was saying that Bridget Macron, which is the president of France's wife, was a man. She said, I will bet my career on this.
I mean, like, think of the things you would bet your career on.
Yes.
Think about how many of them there are.
So the reason why I laugh at that is y'all ever, like, had to, like, throw garbage into a trash can from far and you're like, if I make this, I get everything I want in my life, or something like that.
Yeah.
You, like, in your mind, bet your career on it. And even then, your hand is shaking. You're like, let me get a little closer. Let me just dunk this thing. She bet her career on a story that is 99% probably not true. I mean, maybe the president of France's wife is a pedophile. That, if she's like, I bet my career on that, I'm
More
like,
likely.
pretty likely.
Yeah,
Right? Met the kid when he's 15 or something like that, ends up marrying him. That's a little bit goofy. I know in France that's considered ancient.
Yeah.
Fucking a
Very
15-year-old
patient,
is very, it's unbelievable patient.
Yeah.
100%. But still,
The conversion scale. French 15 is American 38.
it's metric.
yeah.
They're operating on Celsius, and it is what it is. Their numbers are Celsius, okay? But to say that the president of France's wife is a man, I bet my career on
Yeah.
is absurd.
Yeah.
Is absurd.
I guess she was wrong.
No. Now, we're going to see. We're going to see.
Oh, well, she lost her job. She didn't lose her career.
She didn't lose her
Yeah.
career. If anything, I think she's
Yeah.
bigger.
She's just gonna pull her dick out.
No.
You're like, we're gonna see. I was like, what is this pay-per-view? That's crazy.
Nah.
I mean, that's how they could stop all the Muslims from coming to France. I know that's a big issue, but if they really want to stop it, I mean, that is a great move right there. You just market that. Like, you sure you want to come to this country? We're all gay. I mean, that is a strategy.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
dude.
Yeah, nah, I just found it funny because she's like, Miss, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and don't ask for handouts. And then the moment she gets fired, she's asking for donations. Like, I just found that so hypocritical.
No way.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't know she's asking for
Yeah.
donations.
Yeah.
Really?
Dude, I'm like,
Does she have her own platform now or something?
I think she's trying to, keep her platform going.
I mean, listen, she's like, here's the thing with her. She does not give a fuck. We all talk about, like, saying whatever the fuck you want. Candace lives that shit.
I don't say whatever the fuck I want. She does.
Candace lives that
Yeah.
shit. So the only way that you can live that shit and make money is if you have donations. I think that you get to a certain point of salaciousness that brands are going to be scared. And that could be, and that's why I want to see them talk, that could be the reason for the firing. The reason for the firing, I think we've all assumed that it was the Israel-Palestine stuff because she's been going hard. And Ben has been outspoken about that as well. But if it's because of this journalism that he was like, yo, what the fuck are we publishing? The president's wife is a man? The French president's wife is a man? That could change the discourse. Now, I don't know why Ben wouldn't have just said that in the first place.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't makes me go, but I don't know. But yeah, I would like to see them talk. Moderate it. Ah, God.
Yeah, I would love to see Schultz moderate it because he would just be inflammatory. He wouldn't moderate anything.
Yeah,
He'd
Schultz
be like,
would do
I think you two are really, you should really argue a little more. Like, I don't think this is
Yeah.
enough mean stuff being said.
Yeah.
You would just ask questions, go, oh.
Yeah, we go on schoolyard. We go on schoolyard the whole
I think
time.
he's calling you pussy.
Yo,
100%.
Yeah.
Ben, I would not tolerate that.
Yeah.
What you just said to you right there, I would not.
All right, fuck it, I'll moderate it. Fuck it, I'll moderate
You're more
it.
hype manning, I think, is what
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, can I do that?
Yeah.
Do I have to choose a side? Depending on the argument.
Flavor. Yeah.
That'd be great. Do I come with a clock?
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
the
so
white
maybe
flavor
maybe I moderate it. All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't even think that they do it. That's my suspicion.
Yeah.
Did you see both sides pump faking
Yeah.
over the weekend?
Yeah.
I saw it, but it doesn't look like she's pump faking. It looks like he was. Because she says that this was a planned trip that she was supposed to be in London.
And the Daily Wire was aware of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Yeah, it was mainly Daily Wire.
Daily Wire was like,
Sorry, Candace wasn't pumping. She's like, yo, let's set it up. Let's do it. I just don't want to do it on your guys' platform, which I think is a very fair thing, right? You would do it on a neutral site.
Yeah.
But the Daily Wire was like, yeah, let's do it Monday. And it's just like, I'm in London Monday.
Yeah.
And you know that because you had booked your talent to be here. And then I was part of your company and you knew about my schedules. And maybe they didn't know about the schedules, but once she says that, you have to relinquish.
I think Ben also had a tweet that was like this, or one of his guys on his team was like, this is what we're offering, take it or leave it. I think they used the words take it or leave it, which is, the back and forth is like annoying. But yeah, fair enough. It seems like they were trying to be like, let's put it into a specific thing we know she can't make, so she looks bad and we look good. And we don't have to debate.
Damn, yo, the fucking rappers is getting out-rapped. They getting
Out-beefed.
Yo, it's a really sad day for rap.
Yeah.
They don't want it no more. They live in pretty. They live in comfy. They're making too much money. They don't want the smoke.
Or they're just protecting their peace.
Yo,
Come on, bro.
respect to you, J. Cole. We still think you're a great rapper.
Go to therapy.
Nope.
But you never liked him for beefing anyway.
Yeah, but now he's pussy.
Did you think he was a tough guy?
I didn't think he was pussy.
I think Al would have liked if he just didn't, and he says it was a mistake. We all make mistakes, but Al was like, just don't respond.
Yeah.
If you just don't say a fucking word.
It's like you said. It's like he slapped him and then he was like, yo, chill. That's the worst person in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
He did say though, like, if you want to respond, go ahead, like, you got it. He slapped him and then was like, I'm done. And then he stepped
I got my
But that's
chin
also
out.
like, you're not going to slap that guy.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, you basically, yeah. You said I have cerebral palsy. Like, if you got to hit me, but I'm not going to do nothing.
Yeah, like, you should have never put out the track.
That is what I love. And I don't necessarily listen to Kendrick albums. I'm not whatever, but like, I love that he openly wants it. The Control verse is still one of my favorite verses in the past 10, 15 years because he openly is like, hey, no hard feelings. I want that. I'm the best. Let's go. Anybody who wants it, let's go.
Yeah.
I love that. He has that energy. Cole would say it, but then he just backs off. Drake probably has too much to lose, but he's not getting, he'll take like shots like between songs at a concert or make like a post on Instagram or a caption on Instagram. Kendrick on a track will be like, I'm the fucking best ever. Anybody who doesn't agree, feel free. Let's go.
Say a Kendrick bar.
King Kunta.
Say a Kendrick bar.
Nah, that's like...
If you just the whole Control verse that goes for Big Cole, Crit, Jermaine, Wale, he names everybody.
Yeah.
And then he's I'm trying to murder you N-words. Like, make sure your core fans never heard of you N-words. They don't want to hear one more noun or verb from you N-words. That's fire, dude. That shit is fire.
Yeah.
It's hard to quote without the N-words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes it difficult.
Yeah, I guess.
You can feel it.
Anyway, listen, outside of conservative rap beef, rap beef, we have had some global events, some cataclysms. Well, not cataclysms, not even close. But we have had some events that might lead to the great cataclysm.
The big beginning of end times.
Mark has done some research about this.
Yeah.
Mark, can you please fill us in? This is going to be a conspiracy corner
This is not a
conversation.
conspiracy, bro.
Oh, this is real?
This is real.
Okay, Mark, just fill us in, please.
Speaking of beef, the Red Heifers have been delivered to Israel.
Explain what that means.
You would like to know.
Redbone girls?
Basically.
The Red Heifers.
First
have
time I
been
heard this was
delivered-
from the
Lotto, is it?
first time I heard this was from the Ninjas or Butterflies guys who have
Yes.
all the clips on
Yo,
Instagram.
shout out to these guys.
They seem like chill dudes.
Their content I see every single time I open up Instagram. They have every conspiracy absolutely locked the fuck down. I'm sure that they have a long form podcast. I have not listened to long form yet, but they're killing it on social, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
it
fun.
is just like 60 seconds of absolute heat. They're like will literally just absorb your whole next hour of your day.
Yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like, I guess there are giants. You're just walking around.
Yeah.
But this is the one that I saw that like kind of piqued my interest. Where I was like, oh shit, and then I saw it percolating everywhere, and then it got picked up by like CBS and MS, like big news companies are talking about this. So basically, the Jews want to build a third temple.
Third temple.
The first one was
Temple of David.
destroyed by the Babylonians.
Fucking Babylonians.
The next one destroyed by the Romans, I think, or Herod or some shit, 70 AD. Okay?
Okay.
It's been a long time. They want to rebuild a third one. That will basically usher in their Messiah. They don't have a Messiah, right? So, in order to build the temple, they need a red heifer.
Can I ask you one question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Their Messiah.
Is that Jesus? Or supposed to be Jesus?
No,
According to me.
but they need someone else to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And some Jews believe that this guy, I forget his name, I think it's the Lubavitch Jews.
Yeah.
They believe that that guy's already showed up.
Yeah, the rabbi.
Yes.
And he's going to come back. Yeah.
Wait. He is passed already, but
Yeah.
they think he's going to come back.
Yes. That he was in like human form as the Rebbe, and then
Right.
he's going to come back as the Messiah.
But that's just one sect of Jews.
Of ultra-Orthodox, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so they believe in the death and reincarnation. Dick biters. Yo, that's how you know Christ is king, son. Because you heard the story. What you gonna have Christmas next? What else y'all want? Y'all want Easter too? Fuck out of here, yo. Get your own story.
They're modernizing,
Get
bro.
your
Come
own
on.
story,
Yo, turn
yo.
your
Nah,
cheek.
we're not doing
Turn
that.
your cheek,
We're
bro.
not doing that.
Come on.
Okay?
So basically, they need a red heifer, okay?
Yeah.
A red heifer is literally a red cow.
Yes.
And this is a cow that like has all these super specific things. And they need to sacrifice the heifer in order to basically do a ritual ceremony to then purify all the people building the temple and purify all the tools building the temple.
Gotcha.
And where are they going to build the temple? Great question, no one asked. They're going to build it on the Temple Mount.
Oh no!
And
A
that-
fight's out.
I'm about to punch you. Lights out.
That's basically
Put
it.
your hands up.
Oh,
Go on
no.
your grill.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Because why is that tricky? Because the Temple Mount is
Controlled and basically has a mosque on it and controlled by the Muslims in the Middle East. And it has been for a couple
well, not in the
years.
Middle East. It's in Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem,
but
yeah.
on the Palestinian side.
Yeah. And it has a mosque on it.
I believe it's Al-Aqsa, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Al-Aqsa.
They want to take more land, bro?
Just one little thing.
Yo, give them 30 feet.
Bro, it's
they
so-
need
it's-
to go 30 feet.
They just want the narthex, dude. They don't even want the whole
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. When we were in Jerusalem, bro, we went like underneath. Oh, sorry. We went like underneath. We went underneath. The tunnels, bro.
Yeah, they
So
went
they
to
be
the
having
tunnels,
tunnels,
bro.
bro.
They be having
What was down there,
They be
bro?
cooking tunnels.
You got a mattress down there? What was it?
And you know who was building them? They had Palestinians building them. So that's where they learn. That's where Palestinians learn.
makes
Fucked
sense.
up, fuck around, find out.
It's an away game.
So, but I remember us going, and basically what they've done is, in order to get your prayers up to God, the closest place to God, I believe, is in the prayer section of the Temple Mount, right? So that is where God comes and answers all your prayers. That is my understanding. Okay. And I think that's why when you're at the Kotel, you know, that the Wailing Wall where they put the little piece of paper, like that's as close as they can get to the Temple Mount. So you put your bit and you're like, okay, I'm pretty close. Maybe God is going to read the little paper through that.
Yeah, it's like dial-up.
Yes,
Yeah.
dial up. Exactly.
But you want Ethernet.
You want to be plugged in. So there is an underground passageway that they've been excavating, right? So you basically are going underneath and you're getting really close to the Temple Mount. Now, they're not like directly under the Temple Mount, but you're like as close as they legally can. And I remember being under there and I was like, this is egregious, guys. like you're really pushing it right now.
Yeah.
It's like you can't go on top of the land to it, but they're going underneath.
It feels a little bit like your like little sibling being like, I'm not
Yeah,
touching you.
I'm not touching you. I'm not
Yeah,
touching you.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're bugging me though.
Yes. 100%. Okay. Back to your story.
So basically, not a story, it's the facts.
Yes.
Basically, they need a red heifer and they need to combine the ashes of the red heifer with the previous 9 red heifers. Okay, the last red heifer to be sacrificed in this way was 2,000 years ago. So that's where things have left off. That's the prophecy. Okay.
But they need 8 before that, right?
No. They've already had 9.
Accumulated.
Okay.
They need to do one more. Okay. Now this site is obviously important for everyone. It's important for Christians. It's important for Muslims. Obviously, that's
Why is it
where.
important for Christians?
I mean, I think it's just one.
Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, right?
Basically, if they rebuild the temple, evangelical Christians specifically, but I think generally all Christians, I guess, believe that that's when the Messiah will return, when Jesus comes back.
So we're kind of like,
So evangelicals are in on it. They want that shit to pop off.
I think Sermon on the Mount is where Jesus said, turn the other cheek or whatever the fuck.
Maybe.
I shouldn't say fuck, my bad. But yeah, where turn the other
it's all
cheek.
good, bro. Forgive.
we forgive. I'll turn the cheek on that one.
Yeah,
Say it
yeah,
again.
thanks.
Say it again, bro.
Thanks,
Forget it. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
good.
But like Muslims care about it because that's where Muhammad, praise be upon him, went to heaven.
Yo. That's debatable, bro.
I'm not gonna debate that.
I'm just saying it's debatable.
I don't fuck with Muslims, bro.
That's debatable. I mean,
I'll make fun of
obviously,
Jews. I'll make fun of Jews. I'll make fun of
while
Christians.
we're on public record,
I don't make
Muslims-
fun of Muslims.
You're 100% right. But what some people say is that Muhammad went there in a dream. That he himself never arrived at Al-Aqsa, but he went there in his dream.
And you believe that?
Well, I mean, that's what every Jew has ever told me. Now, the Muslims would be like, nah, he pulled up, bro. He rode up with the donkey. You know, they was chilling in there.
The gaslighting, dude.
Son,
the
everybody
gaslighting. No, it was a
gaslights
dream.
you, dude.
It was a dream.
Dude, but how do we know? Who's right? Who's wrong? It's so many years have passed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
Who's telling the truth?
The side y'all afraid of seems like they, right?
Which side?
I mean,
I'm afraid of all of them. Okay? It's only the Christians I'm not afraid of. That's why Christians need to rule the world. So that we can not live in fear. Okay? We're afraid of all of them.
So the red heifer has to be perfect, okay? It has to be perfect in its redness. 2 hairs of any other color will disqualify it. Even the hooves have to be red. It has to be 3 or 4 years old. Older animals won't be able to be sacrificed. There can't be any kind of internal or external defect or blemish. They can't have been yoked, done any physical labor, even had a person lean on it. They can't even have had a blanket put on it. So basically, a couple rabbis go to an evangelical Texas rancher and it's basically like, hey, we need your help getting these red heifers.
Now you need us.
They need 5.
Now you need us.
They get 5 of them.
Yeah.
All perfect, no blemishes. They get sent over to Israel. Now they're in Israel right now. They basically built the altar on the Mount of Olives where they're going to sacrifice the heifer. This is where it gets a little wild. Apparently, a Hamas spokesperson claims, this happened in 2022, a Hamas spokesperson claims that part of the reason that October 7th happened was because of the red heifers. I was like, there's no way that's true. I Googled it. Apparently, the dude was like, yeah, the red heifer thing was
I mean, how hard is it to be a Hamas spokesperson?
That's a great.
I mean, I feel like at this time, you could just raise your hand
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, I'm doing PR for Hamas.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they could use the help. I mean, if anyone wants to pick up a PR job, that's probably a good one to take on.
Easily.
Right?
I mean, they can't do it. They're playing fucking Super Mario Brothers right now. You know what I mean? They are. They're in the plumbing, right?
Yeah,
Aren't they?
I guess.
Okay. I mean, if you really want to get them out of there, you just start playing. Okay, so.
But yeah, so basically, they see it like, okay, if you get the red heifers here, that means you're trying to make a move on the Temple Mount. That means you're trying to take our shit. So we got to buck up, and that's going to create more conflict.
So as ridiculous as this seems maybe to us, these are all believers.
They all
so
believe.
if you believe the prophecy, and keep in mind, these are all Abrahamic religions, so the latest one has to believe the stuff before. So
we go.
Muslims have to believe in Christians. Christians have to believe in Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Jews don't really have to believe in the future ones, but when they need some red heifers, who the fuck they come to?
the fucking
Who the fuck they come to?
Texans, man.
The boys! The boys!
Texans, brother.
Turbo! Turbo! Hey there, brother. I've got some fat bitches from San Antonio for you, brother.
Yeah, dude. So it's all heating up. Apparently, they're going to sacrifice the red heifer during Passover, which is in like a week. Or like 2
And then
weeks.
their Messiah will come.
No,
gonna
because they don't
start.
got the Temple Mount.
It's going to start the end times. Once they sacrifice the red heifer, then they can start getting the tools and the people to build the
And they want
new
the end
temple.
times.
Well, they want to get the Messiah popping.
But the Messiah is a messenger of death, it seems.
No, this is salvation for the
For
Jewish
the
people.
Jews, for the chosen ones.
For the chosen. This is the end of the prophecy. They get to actually, do whatever their prophecy says.
Seems a little selfish.
this shit is stupid.
That seems a little selfish.
Hindus are involved.
How?
They're sacrificing your uncle.
Yo, that's right. That red heifer. That red heifer could be related to you.
Somewhere,
No,
right?
I mean, maybe in like 1,000 lives ago. But I'm just saying there's, 15 million Jews? You're going to end the
can I
whole
ask you
world
a
for
serious
15
question?
million of you? There's 8 billion people.
Have Jews been known to be extremely considerate?
That's
when
what
you're
I just,
hanging out?
yeah. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Like,
This is like.
hey, how's the temperature for you guys? We'll keep it there. Have you heard a Jew say that before?
Now, question.
Yeah.
Because you guys believe in reincarnation,
Yeah.
are you more accepting of bestiality?
Okay, so I can move on to the next part of this.
That's
I
a
don't
good
think
question.
so. I don't think so.
But
It happens. I mean, y'all got that video of the guy getting fucked by the horse.
But he does it
To
for the
death.
love of the game, I think.
yeah, he's doing it for the horse. Like, he doesn't feel good from that. He just
died.
thought the horse needed to get that off.
But-
He didn't have confidence in his hand game.
Mr. Hands.
but he's gay. He wants to get fucked in his ass by the biggest dick possible. So he goes horse.
We don't know if he's
dies.
gay. Why are you assuming he's gay?
Well, that's pretty gay.
What's
You're getting
horse.
fucked in
He
your
fucked
ass.
a horse. That's not.
Yeah, the horse. There's no gender.
Yeah.
It's just horse.
No, that horse had a gender.
No, but it's
No.
not a gender.
That
It's
horse
horse.
had a gender.
That horse might have been the first lady of France. We don't
Al,
know. We don't know
Al,
anything
can you
about that
moderate
horse.
here? We need a
If
moderator.
it got a dick, it's easy.
Yeah, but nobody sees someone
Thank you.
fucking an animal and goes, "Oh, is that horse a male?"
Leave it to black dudes to be like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's disgusting. He's
Yeah,
gay.
gay guy, dude.
yeah.
Gay
Big
guy.
problem.
Get that
Big problem.
horse
Okay.
lady pussy, right? That's what he needs to be.
Okay, so
But all they got to do is just lean up against his horse, and now you just disqualify all these
yeah, you don't
horses.
have to blow everything
Yeah.
up. Put a
Yeah.
blanket on him.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. But it's being guarded by the IDF.
it. No way.
Literally, it's being guarded within like a specific building. It's like being protected.
The Red Heifers.
Yes.
What is going on in this world?
I know this is stupid.
I didn't believe
I'm
really
sorry,
any of this. I'll be
religious
honest.
people, but this is stupid.
They believe in drones and red heifers. That's a kind of insane
That's
thing.
a great point.
Like,
Great point.
Like,
Newsweek.
why even go fight the war if you got the red heifers?
Most sophisticated missile defense system in the world. Also, find me 6 red cows.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you truly believe, whoa,
Oh shit.
whoa,
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Talk that shit, Candace.
whoa, whoa. No, because if you truly believe, you don't have a backup plan. That's the idea with faith. There was no backup plan when my boy was about to split his kid in half. What was his name?
Isaac.
Isaac
Abraham.
was about to chop his kid in
No,
half.
Abraham was going to chop Isaac in half.
Oh yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah.
You know. And he was about to split him in half, but there was no backup plan. There was like, you know what? But by the way, I don't know what the backup plan in that situation would be. How many kids did he have?
One.
That's right, and it was really hard for him and his wife to conceive, and then they finally conceived, and he was going to chop that motherfucker in half. There was no backup plan.
And
He
then
had
God
3
was
or 4
like, just
kids.
the dick. And then that was it.
And then
He was
it
like, "All right,
worked."
fine."
Fucking genius, that guy, man.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, Noah had a backup plan.
That's
Noah had one plan,
Well, it was like you could die here or you could get on the boat.
but it wasn't backup. It was like, I know this thing is going to happen. I have so much faith that this thing is going to happen, so I have to build this boat.
So maybe billions of dollars of missiles that's the boat.
Well, then you don't believe in the red heifers.
Well, no, the Red Heifers are going to bring it in, but then you got to have the ammo to back it up.
They would say that billions of dollars or whatever would protect the red heifers so we can do this. Otherwise,
Got it.
It's been 2,000 years, bro.
Got it,
They've
got
been
it.
waiting
I
mad
get it,
long.
I get it.
these Hamas animals.
I get it. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying. Okay.
So evangelicals are on board with it.
So
Jews are on board with it.
evangelicals and Jews are just fucking linked in.
The rancher that they found to get this was like, yeah, man, I feel like I'm doing my purpose right now.
Wow.
It's hilarious.
But it's really interesting because it's mutually assured destruction of each other. So the Christians are doing it because, Jesus is coming back and he's killing all these Jews and anybody else, and we're going to heaven. And the Jews are doing it because they're like, our guy's coming and he's killing all these Christians, whatever. So they're both gambling
Well,
on the same thing,
the
right?
evangelicals would say like every knee will bend when they see the true light of Christ.
And what did you say?
Jews are like, you guys are dead.
Amazing! Amazing!
I want to do this as like a dinner theater. I want to do medieval times, but it's every different religion. You get to pick one and then they play it all out.
You're dead and you're going to hell. You're not just dead. You're
Yeah.
going to hell.
Oh,
Well, some Jews don't believe in hell, I guess. I don't know. We gotta talk to the
think
Jews.
Yeah, I don't think they believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So it's kind of that part's considerate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's
so
hard
bad.
enough to be Jewish that they don't feel like you should be tortured in the afterlife as well. Do you know what I mean?
What the hell is just living as a Jewish person on this?
Just every second of every day, constantly analyzing everything around
discomfort.
you. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's one part of this. They have to mix the red heifer, the current sacrifice, with the other red heifers from 2,000 years ago.
Mix them, meaning the
They have to
ashes.
mix the ashes.
And where do they find the ashes of the older ones?
They don't have. Psych. They're inside. I fucking got you so bad. You really thought that was it. You fucking idiot.
adorable. That was adorable.
It's called drama, Akash. We'll edit it. We'll play
Go,
some.
go. That was sick. Go.
That was awesome.
Where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they also found a clay pot full of ashes
Of red heifers?
of red heifers.
There's no way that they could look at the biology and find out that they're red heifers.
This is so stupid.
How do we know it's not Jesus' ashes?
Oh, stop. No, this is
How do we know it's
They
not
found the ashes of
a
the
Baba
red
Ganoush of a long time ago?
fucking,
If we
chill.
look it up, it might be some mashed
For real,
eggplants.
stop.
Wait, so we're just not going to look into it and just hope it's red heifers? And then we're going to mix it?
They found the ashes of the red heifers in the Dead Sea
Holy
Scrolls.
fuck.
Isn't that crazy?
Holy
fucking
fuck.
out here, dude.
Yo, can you Can you answer something real
I
quick?
can't. Come
Can you
on.
answer something real quick?
This
What
is
is?
so silly.
Hey, Alex, can you fucking learn something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, we're the
trying.
real Jews. You don't even listen one time. I tell you about your
Yeah.
history, motherfucker.
Come on, listen.
I am the lost tribe. That is true.
Yeah, you guys
That's
are just
one
the
too.
late tribe.
No.
All right.
The Dead Sea Scrolls. What are they?
Basically, I think it's like the Apocrypha. It's
Okay.
basically like old
What's that?
Gospels. It's like Gospels that like talk about Jesus and the fucking Jews.
These are
ancient
our
Israel.
books, or these
Yeah,
are Jew
whose
books, or
books?
these are Muzzy books?
I think they're our books plus. I think it's Christian.
Okay, so it's the good guys. You found the good guys.
Yeah, the good guys.
You got the good. Okay. Okay.
Can I get a fact check?
These
Shifty, we have one actual Christian in the room.
yeah.
Can you tell us what the Dead Sea Scrolls are?
They're a collection of
Mic them up! Mic them up! We're not silencing Christians on this podcast. Go.
I'm pretty sure it's just a collection of both books. It's like Jews and Christians, and it's like because we both read some of the same books. That's what I would have to guess.
And is it talking about Jesus?
Yeah, I think some of them are Gospels. I'm pretty sure, and it's like the oldest one that we ever found.
I found it, brother.
Okay, brother, talk to us.
40% of the copies are texts of Hebrew scriptures. Other 30% are texts from the Second Temple period, which were not canonized in the Hebrew Bible, like the Book of Enoch, Book of Jubilee, Book of Tobit, the Wisdom of Sirach, Psalms 152 through 155. The remainder, 30%, are sectarian manuscripts of previously unknown documents that shed light on the rules and beliefs of the particular sect or groups within greater Judaism, like community rule, Habakkuk, the rule of blessings, and the war scroll.
You're going to have to explain that again, brother.
I caught none
I
of that.
understood maybe 50% of those
Okay,
words,
fine.
brother.
I thought that
you
was
said
English.
Tibet and Enoch, and I
Let me-
just shut off, brother.
Let me hit it
I
one
heard
more time.
Habakkuk.
It's about 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
There you go.
It's just like scriptures and then
Like it's all Jewish though.
well, no, because like Psalms and shit like that. Book of Enoch. I think.
Enoch is Jewish, dog. Come on.
Yeah.
Enoch's is like Mark's mom shit.
Yeah.
Enoch's like a completely different thing.
Red pill?
No, it's like pre-Bible.
Don't they talk about aliens and shit in Enoch?
Yeah, me and your mom talked
the
about this
Nephilim.
for a long
Right.
time.
Oh, that's the Giants.
The
Yeah.
See, we're back on the Giants. dude.
Son, I love Giants.
Yeah.
They had Giants back in the day. Did you?
Yeah. We got Jinder Mahal. We doing it.
So yeah, and then we had
got the great Khalid.
the eclipse on top of all that. Full totality over the town of Nineveh. Why does that matter? Because Nineveh is the place where Jonah went and was like, hey, it's going to be dark. After 40 days of darkness, judgment's going to come unless you all repent.
Son, he could kill me now. You keep telling this story. I don't give a fuck. Let judgment come.
No.
dude.
Hold on. I'm locked in. Go on. Go on.
So this one, I don't know as much about it. I don't really think makes as much sense. But basically, they're saying full totality across the United States over 7 towns of Nineveh. Back in the Bible, Jonah went to the people of Nineveh and was like, hey, it's going to be dark tomorrow. And then you have 40 days from that moment to repent. If you don't repent, the day of judgment will be upon you. They all repented and they were spared the day of judgment.
But what you're saying is what happened yesterday was the exact same solar eclipse that happened back in the day. Holy shit. Can I tell you something very quickly?
Please. Sure.
Did you even have to wear glasses yesterday?
Hold on. That's hilarious, bro.
Hold on.
That's hilarious, bro.
No.
Oh, that's so funny, bro.
Alex,
that's so
calm down,
funny.
Alex. Alex, calm down. Alex,
Oh, that got me.
okay, no.
That's funny.
Yesterday,
No, that's funny.
all of us saw the eclipse, right?
That's
all
funny.
saw the
Yeah,
eclipse.
yeah.
Okay.
When Schultz's nose went across the sun. Yeah, that's
So basically, I was looking at the eclipse for I would say about maybe 3 minutes, not directly, but when I started texting the group, I was like, "Is this shit happening or not?" And then y'all kept messaging me these like dark ass pictures where you'd see the sun, and I'd look at the picture and I'd look up and I'd be like, "I don't think this shit happening where I am."
You didn't know the glasses?
I didn't know you needed the glasses to see it, right? And all I'm thinking in that moment is like, how the fuck they saw this back in the day? Because they didn't have these glasses back in the day.
Oh, that's a good point.
How the hell would they see it?
Shadows. Good
They use
ass
shadows.
point.
They use shadows.
What's that?
They use shadows.
Miles is very into this.
They
eclipse,
use
dude.
shadows?
Yeah.
What does
So,
that mean?
Like if you looked at the shadows.
Stop.
The
When you
colander
said
shit.
that, do you think we would understand, or were you reading from the fucking book of Enoch or whatever?
It's
Mark read
Enoch
5
shit.
minutes
It's
ago?
alien shit. No, they use shadows to see it.
What does that mean?
So like if you put a colander, if you put a
Shifty,
colander,
kick him.
no, don't kick.
He's too far.
I'm about to J. Cole slap you right now. I'm gonna apologize.
Fuck him, bro.
If you have a circular hole and it casts a shadow, it'll be the shape of the eclipse. So it'll be crescent shaped.
But here's the thing: how would
how
they even know
to
it's
cut the
gonna
paper
happen?
in the hole? They don't know when it's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
totality gets dark. You got to imagine there's just random people walking
So they
around.
went and found paper when it got dark.
Hold on one second.
No.
You're making so much sense, and this guy's driving me crazy. Hold on. This shit happens once in the same situation, in the same place, like once in 300 years. So you're telling me it happened, it got dark out of nowhere during the day, and then got light again, and they were like, we should figure that out. Let's just wait another 300 years.
Well, they happen
Oh, it
constantly.
happened again. Like, there's no way.
They happen somewhat constantly, every couple of years. They're either totality, annular, there's all these different types of eclipses. They're somewhat trackable. There are cultures back in the day that knew about them, and there are cultures back in the day that didn't, that could track them and predict them. And
I don't
them
believe
out.
it. I think
Yeah.
that they had the glasses.
They probably had
I think they had the glasses or something, or my suspicion was an incredibly cloudy day might block the sun enough.
that also.
That, like, you know how we're like, oh my God, we won't be able to see it because of clouds.
Yeah.
I actually think that might help you
Oh,
see
yeah.
it. It was such a beautiful day. It was so profound that if you didn't have those sunglasses,
Yeah.
you didn't notice any difference. Did you look at it? Did you guys Trump it? Also,
No.
apologies for making fun of Trump. Of course you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Remember when Trump
Yeah.
looked at the solar eclipse without the glasses and everybody was, oh, what a fucking idiot.
But I think he went out without glasses.
No, he took them off,
Oh,
looked
yeah.
at it, and then
Oh.
put it back on. I did that like 10 fucking times.
I did not.
You'll be blind.
I was like,
Yeah,
he's
I
not the
did
first
not.
president to do it. John Quincy Adams partially blinded himself staring at a
That's why I didn't do it.
yeah.
solar eclipse.
Yeah,
way
your
back in
eyes
the
are
day.
bad enough. Why'd you just try to make
Nah,
it
my
work?
shit was fucked up. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes.
Today I even feel it. I don't feel good.
Yo, this shit kind of goes hard, bro.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a fire picture.
Look
Straight
at
up.
Barron.
You see the photo of the border patrol? There's a border patrol guy on the south border, and they're in the path of totality. So he's got 3 illegal immigrants handcuffed to each other, and he's put solar eclipse glasses on them.
So
while
they
they're-
can all see?
So they all can see as they're walking back to like the truck.
That's amazing.
Yo, look up, fuckers.
Wow, that's sick.
Yo, look at this fool going
My
on
man
back.
at the end has none though. He's still looking.
Yeah, I know.
He's got the squints. He's got safety squints. He can just sort of.
Yeah, that is fucked up. The one of them doesn't get it.
Well, I think he passed him around.
Also, these Mexicans look wildly Indian. Like
Y'all be sneaking,
even my
bro.
man's shirt.
They coming from
Yeah, I'll be
everywhere, bro.
sneaking.
Yeah, no, I've
There's
heard
some
this. But
Indians
even
and
blue shirt, that's the
Chinamen.
most Indian outfit
It is
possible.
It is.
Yeah, that guy's gonna fuck you on like a tire change or some shit.
Oh,
You just
what?
tell.
What?
Wait, I was trying to think of an Indian scam. I don't think they do tires though.
Can I be honest? I'm relieved that bombed.
What's like an Indian scam? I was trying to think
Go
of
back to
something.
the church shit. He was cooking.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second because some of you want to cook your own meals. God bless. That's fantastic. But don't be stunad. Okay? Let's go about this the right way. You can cook your own food, but let Just Meats take care of the most important and difficult parts. Let that meat get marinated. Let all the flavor seep in. Let the cut of meats be delicious. Let it be perfect. Let it be high quality. Why don't you outsource the most tricky things and then you just cook it? Simple as that, okay? I'm telling you right now, Just Meats has got your back. You gotta cut the meat, season it, let it marinate for 24 hours. Are you really, you gonna make your own marinade? Just be honest with yourself. You're not. You're not going to do it. Just Meats is going to do all of it, okay? Seasoned, cut, clean, organic meat from a trusted farm. That's what you need. After that, you can add vegetables, rice, quinoa, whatever the fuck you want to it. I don't care. You don't care. The person eating with you doesn't care. Nobody ever goes, oh my God, the vegetables were crazy. No. The meat is what's crazy, and Just Meats has got your back to do it, okay? And of course, because we're always looking out for you right now, if you go to justmeats.com/flagrant and use the code FLAGRANT, you're going to get $15 off your first purchase. And better yet, this discount is stackable with other offers, which means if the site is offering 20% off, which it is right now, you get to cash in on both offers. So stop wasting your time and sign up right now. This is the easiest, most simple, carefree way to make the best meals you've ever made in your life. Get all the credit for it. Nobody's going to be like, oh my God, did you buy it from Just Meats? You don't even have to mention it. They're going to think you know how to marinate a steak better than any person on the planet. You get all the credits. Just Meats. Wrestlemania.com/flagrant. Promo code is flagrant. Get all them discounts right now. Let's get back to the show. All right, guys, let's take a break for a second. Listen, some of you out there, you've got some bad habits, and you need to replace them with a good habit. Okay, you already know those bad habits and what they cause. They can cause lung cancer. They can cause heart disease. They can cause your mouth smelling like shit. That's actually probably the worst one. Your mouth, your clothes, everything just smelling like shit. This right here is what you're going to switch to. You're going to switch to a good habit, and that's with Fume, okay? Fume uses flavored air, not this vapor nonsense. It uses completely natural oils to flavor it. Think about that. They're not using these electronics. And instead of the harmful chemicals that are in that other garbage, Fume uses delicious flavors. It's a habit you are free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit very easy. Also, it's perfect for fidgeting. It's got this adjustable dial. It makes these nice little clicks. It sounds ridiculous, but trust me, that's what you're gonna get addicted to. You're gonna fidget. You're gonna hit the Fume. You're gonna hit it. I would say smoke, but you can't smoke because there is no smoke in there, okay? All that natural, beautiful, flavored air, good for your body. Plus, Fume has just released this magnetic stand for your Fume, so there's no more losing it around the house. It's built with fidgeting in mind. You can spin a Fume all fucking day if you want. So, to start the year off right, the good habit that you need is Fume, and you can get it by going to tryfume.com/flagrant, okay? You get the journey pack today. Fume is giving our listeners of the show 10% off when they use the code FLAGRANT to help make starting the good habit that much easier. Get the mint, that's my favorite flavor, hands down. Now let's get back to the show. Where are we in the conspiracy? What else do we have left? Because I feel like there's one more component.
Didn't finish reading the article.
Mark, you said you were
No, I don't think. Basically, everyone's just like, okay, if they rebuild it, then it's gonna be a lot of violence.
Yep.
And then if they can actually rebuild it, then there's gonna be an antichrist that's gonna come.
There's already a lot of violence.
I know, yeah.
Like specifically.
Can I
around
ask-
that.
You haven't seen nothing
Can I ask
yet.
you
The rivers
something?
will run red with blood.
Whoa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, here's something very important. if you're Musenstein,
Yeah.
if you're a big old muzzy,
Yeah.
and you believe in your God, you should be like, yo, let them build it. Y'all are wrong. We wouldn't be here if you were right, but y'all are clearly wrong. That's why we're here. Build whatever you need to build. Don't build it on the Temple Mount, but take your heifers, do whatever the fuck you want.
But they need to build
But
it
I
on
think
the
they
Temple
wanna
Mount.
build it on
now
the-
you can't disrespect. That's violation.
my point.
You can't violate.
Also,
You can't
that's
violate.
That's
You're
just
just
low-key.
now putting that together.
No, low-key, if I'm them, I got it.
This is the whole shit.
I got it. If I'm the Muslims, I
tried
go,
to yell at
we'll
his
build it
stupidity.
for you.
Oh.
I go, we'll build it for you. If they don't come, it's ours. All of it. Put your money where your mouth is, or put your belief where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Let's see how much y'all really believe. If you really believe this is all it's gonna take for your Messiah to come down, we'll build it for you on the Temple Mount, sacrifice the heifers, mix up the ashes, do whatever the fuck you want. If it doesn't work, then we create the new borders.
Yeah, that's kind of fire.
And then you're gonna see a lot of, shakiness in faith.
Well, that's just them praying. But yeah, I think that would be fire, though.
Right?
That would be
Let's
fire.
see who
That's the
believes.
move. That's the move.
Or build like a duplex.
I'll host that debate. I would love to host that debate. Oh my God, just to be right there in the middle to find out Christ is king. Just let the other two sides fight, and then find out the J-Man coming back. It's Undertaker at Wrestlemania. Do you think it's gonna be The Rock? You think it was gonna be whoever the fuck he is?
He's the original Undertaker, dude. Back in the day.
Yo,
Come on,
That
bro.
is- Right
yo.
there, dog.
I mean, how fire would that be?
Do you think you would
If
recognize?
Christ came back and chokeslammed a Jew, it'd be pretty funny.
He would never do that. Turn the other cheek. He would turn the other cheek.
Okay, that's way less fun.
We don't know what he would do to the Muzzies though, because they're from the future.
From the top rope. Like, that's what it'd be.
Yo,
It'd
he
be
might.
fucking
I
crazy.
mean, yes. Now we're
Jesus
talking.
as a wrestler would actually be so fire, that fit flapping in the wings as he's going from rope to rope.
You look like Roman Reigns. It'd be sick.
I mean, anyway. Let's see what this happens. We got some interesting things going down.
Yeah. It's all right.
A faith off is fire.
Yeah.
I like a faith off.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, that's a great.
So
that's,
are we done in 40 days?
If you keep on living the way you're living.
Okay, so shouldn't that be a test to it right
Choose
there?
up, Al. Choose
Nah,
up.
but I'm just saying, in 40 days, if nothing happens, then
Nah. If nothing happens, then you move the goalpost. a little.
Yeah, that's how. You know how many times Christians have thought the world is ending?
Yeah, I know.
And just with some other thing.
When?
Yeah, I know.
All the time.
All the time.
When?
All the time.
When?
Like literally 2000 supposed to end.
No,
That was tech
worried
bros,
about
bro. That was fucking lesbians and stuff. That was like Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
What
Silicon
about Branch
Valley.
Davidians?
Huh?
What about the Branch Davidians? Aren't they Christian?
No.
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
Those
Said
guys
the
are
world's
Waco,
gonna end
like
all
fucking.
goddamn
Waco's very Christian. Let me tell you something about Waco. That shit is wild
No,
Christian.
no.
You go to Waco, you're gonna be less Christian.
I went to
You're gonna
Waco. I went to Waco. I surfed there. There's a wave pool in Waco.
You walked on water in Waco?
Literally.
Oh, fuck.
Literally.
Yeah, that's the most Christian you could.
Literally.
The Christ is king, bro.
Did you go
Crazy
around
king.
Waco and just like hang out, get the vibe?
Yes, I went to a taco shop after. It was delicious. It was amazing. Had a great conversation.
Who was
Had a
running the taco
conversation with a surfer. There were some Mexicans running the taco
Christians,
Is
Catholics.
that where that cult was?
Yes.
Wasn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the conversation we've been having for 3 minutes. Thank you, Al. Thanks for joining us, Al.
Yo, why don't they just share the same land? Why are they beefing overnight? Like, that's stupid.
I don't know what you're saying.
We edited that part out.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Jeez.
Now, what was the conversation? When have Christians thought the world was going to end?
There's every 5 years some
Yeah.
Christian guy's like, hey, the world is ending.
We
Thank
can't
you.
do this with the some Christian guy. There's only 2 Christians that count.
Who?
The Catholics,
Let's go. A-team.
the Orthodox.
It's like the NFC and the AFC.
Catholics are not the best.
I didn't say that. I just said the Catholics and the Orthodox. And whatever groups in America support me are the ones that they count. And
the
whatever
Catholics-
ones are against me, it's not real Christian.
Have the Catholics predicted end times yet?
Yes.
I don't, honestly.
The Pope is sucking on feet. Bitch feet at that. He got bitch feet in his mouth.
Yeah, that seems like
You
a
don't think
buzzer
that's
beater.
the
A little
end of
bit. That
time?
seems like a buzzer beater.
He knows it's over. He's like, I gotta get these toes sucked before I'm out of here.
Catholic answer, yes, we are in the end times.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, we are in the end times.
What does that mean, even?
We've been in the end times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being vague. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You just, exactly like you said, you just move the goalposts. It's coming. Say, we're here. We're close.
Okay.
Close could be 1,000 years.
Yes.
All are welcome to sing in the choir of God, okay? So when your time comes, you just let me know.
Facts. Okay, can
We'll
we
take
talk
you.
about some real fucking issues that we don't care about?
Yeah.
I want to have real issues that we don't care about conversation.
got it.
Mark, can you spit off some real issues that we don't care about?
I mean, does someone want to fucking take one off?
Yes. Ready?
Alright.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Russell Simmons' daughter dating an older man.
I just, yeah.
I'm
It's,
sick and tired of older men
yeah.
being shamed
It's just,
for achieving their goal in life. Do you think that guy made millions upon millions of dollars to date a woman his age?
yeah.
No.
Are
not
we
at all.
judging? Are people judging the guy? Those guys are idiots. If you're judging the guy, that's
Yeah, you should judge the girl.
yeah. You're the one making the bad decisions.
Yeah.
They're judging the guy. They're judging her dad.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it's her dad. There's many reasons. to
Yeah,
judge
are
her
we
dad.
finally judging her dad?
Yeah.
Didn't he have
mean-
to flee the country?
Yeah, he's in Bali because he's a
Yeah, he's actually
allegedly.
actively avoiding judges in America. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about judgment,
Yeah. He should be judged.
Yes.
He should be judged.
the
Very
idea
much
that
so.
she would do anything different.
Yeah.
Her mom was 21 and he was like 44.
When they got married, I think that their mom was like 15 or something like that when they started dating,
Ay,
or 17
yeah,
when they started. Something
yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Allegedly.
These are all legends.
Yeah.
But also that picture is not the most flattering. You got
Yeah,
your
I
side
know.
boob popping. Like,
She-
this is not good. This is not great.
She got a mom's body.
No, her mom was stacked.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, her mom was stacked. Kimura
But
was
she
stacked.
got a dad's body.
She might got her dad's body.
Like a surfboard.
Yo, Jesus Christ, Al, we're not
Oh,
shaming young
that's
women.
wild?
We're not shaming
That's
young
wild.
women. This is a young, impressionable woman, Al. And look how handsome he is in that shot right there. And he looks so handsome when he's got the tuxedo. They really took the worst possible picture.
That must be like one of the worst things about being famous is going to the beach and having people take pictures of you shirtless.
Yeah.
Like,
It's horrible.
for
It's
real.
disgusting what we
That's
do to
the
multimillionaires
worst. Yeah,
on
I
state
know.
parts. Why can't they have some privacy on their island that they stole?
Can't they bang children in peace?
Yeah, the one island that there was no indigenous people that they built up and invested a lot of infrastructure and money in so that they could have a paradise in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Why on earth can they not just enjoy their time there?
If I was this guy, though, I'd be like, criticize me for that shit, but just like, my shirt's off and I just ate and I'm leaning over and I'm picking up something and I look stupid doing it.
He doesn't care.
He really doesn't care.
He
He
feels
got-
like he's at the.
She's 18. How
He
old is
doesn't
she?
give a
21.
She's 21 years old. She's getting cracked by this guy who's fucking 60. Whatever it is, what it is.
I didn't know she's getting
65.
cracked. Getting squeaked.
65.
Yeah, but listen, this is the life. This is the life she's chosen.
Here's a question. Isn't she rich? Like, what is the upside for her? Is he that much more rich than her family is? Because Russell Simmons, I mean, he was predatory in business, I assume. Made a lot of money.
Yeah, but I don't think rich women.
Oh,
still
no,
want-
you're right. The Uncle Rush card was fucking to help the community. Fucking savage.
Yeah, I don't think that rich women still want to pay for things.
Yeah.
I just feel like she could find a less rich guy that's 40 and still be fine. You know what I mean?
What if he's got an awesome personality? Don't laugh. Come on, dude.
Yeah, he's probably charming.
Yeah, what if he's so funny and charming?
Yeah,
He's
why
like the
can't he
Dos
do
Equis
that?
guy. Come
It's
on, dude.
just so funny. What if he's got an awesome... Who gives a fuck, dude? You think he's a funny grandpa? He's 65.
They might have fun together.
Grandpas have awesome personality.
They go see movies. She chooses popcorn for
Motherfucker's
him.
giving her a Werther's original every couple of weeks. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Who knows, bro?
But I mean, here's what I felt like. She just doesn't have the parental guidance for anybody because her pops had to fucking flee the country.
Yep.
Her mom that's a mom.
Her mom did the same thing.
Did the same thing.
Yeah, she's
so it's
following her
like,
mom's
who's
footsteps.
going to be like, hey, don't do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the right thing to do.
To be honest, she could be with a guy that's like her father and it would be way worse.
So much worse.
So I
Yeah,
feel
this
like,
guy wasn't accused of raping a lot of women.
yeah, exactly.
This is an
Exactly.
upgrade.
Exactly.
Like the apple does fall far from the tree. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do we know that she isn't raping him and she hasn't gotten that from her father?
Whoa.
Allegedly.
That's a good point.
How do we don't know that her father's rape genes haven't passed down to her and then she's out here raping millionaires in St. Bart's?
oh my God.
This poor guy's a prisoner. She's got him, shackled down somewhere, just raping him all night. This guy started Serafina. Some of the greatest thin crust pizza New York has ever seen.
He started paying Serafina.
Serafina.
Yeah, I love this
I
guy.
know you love Serafina.
Hey,
it's
yo,
horrible
shouts,
Italian
dude.
food. You would love
Shouts,
it.
dude. I love this guy.
And now he's out there in his mansion in St. Bart's getting raped up every single day, driving a Suzuki Jimny to breakfast. Guy can't even drive a Suzuki Jimny to breakfast without getting by Russell Simmons' daughter, allegedly.
Man.
Yo, honestly,
This poor girl.
she chose
she's
a
being
great
punished.
guy, dude.
Reverse
she chose
Epstein,
a great
dude.
guy.
She keeps on banging these old dudes.
Yeah. What did he think was going to happen? He brought this girl to his home thinking she was going to clean it. Turns out she's with him. What an insane turn of events. Fuck.
Thinking she was gonna clean it.
He didn't think that he was hiring her as like a sexual consultant of some sort.
Oh my god.
This is.
I didn't know he started Serafina. Yo, shouts. They used to cater for what's that comedy club that used to be good? Stand Up New York.
Ah, yes. R.I.P. Stand Up New York.
Yeah, I never actually ate it, but I loved it.
R.I.P. What a handsome guy. Come on, stop it.
From Milan.
Dude, you know what? This is a great relationship.
What if she's just having a fun little time with the older man? And what if the older man is having a fun little time too? Why don't we look at it like that?
I approve of this relationship.
She's 21 years old. She is an adult.
Yeah.
She can go to war, right?
That's true.
She can start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She can go to an island and have sex with a millionaire, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We have to accept this. Now, we can have empathy for the millionaire and having to watch her make TikToks all day. We can have empathy for that, right? You flew out this 21-year-old piece of vagina, and she's just driving you fucking insane all day for a week straight.
He's paying for it right now.
He's paying for it. Right? He's like,
Like-
never again.
All the
calling
blogs
Meryl
are
Streep.
covering him because she wants to go on live.
Get ready with me while I suck this 65-year-old's dick.
So this is, I think we have to have more empathy for the men in these situations. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
Agreed.
with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good one. Okay, what else do we got, guys?
You guys want to talk WWE?
Yeah, we can talk WWE.
I got filled. So I was seeing the WrestleMania tweets. Were y'all seeing it all
Yeah.
day Sunday? I didn't know what was going on. My brother loves wrestling. I
Yeah.
called him. I got like a 30-minute breakdown.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers are some of the greatest storytellers in the history, at least in my lifetime. I don't know if I like the way
Okay,
they
break it
build
down.
up. So this guy named Roman Reigns, he is actually The Rock's cousin. It's like a wrestling family, like a lineage. WWE for years was trying to build this guy up as like a good guy, make him like John Cena, and fans didn't really like him. There's also this interesting thing with wrestling fans where like WWE kind of acknowledges it's fake now, and the fans kind of analyze it like we analyze like Game of Thrones, like the story.
Yeah.
So they're like critical of him. They don't really like him. COVID happens, and then he like over COVID when they're not wrestling develops. He's like, I'm gonna develop this bad guy character that's like really nuanced. Goes to Vince McMahon as like, if either you let me turn heel or I quit. Because this shit is not working.
Oh, wow.
So he develops this whole like, he's like a mafia boss or something, and like all of his family that's wrestlers. He still has 3 cousins wrestling, calls it the Bloodline, right? And then people start fucking loving him. They're like, yo, this character is great.
Yeah.
He becomes champion. It's undefeated for 4 years, or holds the belt for 4 years almost. And then The Rock comes back, and there's this other guy, Corey Rhodes, that like has his own backstory that I don't think is as worth getting into, but like fans really want him to get the belt. Last year, they think he's going to get it at WrestleMania. He loses. Everybody's livid. And WWE's like, just trust us. We got this. They build it up for another year. Almost 4 years, they're building up this fucking this storyline.
Some Avengers shit.
Yeah, and then I'm sure it's building, other things are happening, but like adding more pieces, developing the nuance. The Rock comes back, and he is initially going to fight this guy, Roman Reigns, for the title. Because he's the biggest, that's the biggest views. But then the fans are so upset, The Rock is like, you know what? Fuck it. Let these 2 guys fight. Corey Rhodes, I think is his name. Or Cody. And
Cody Rhodes.
And Roman Reigns. And I'm going to turn heel. Which is crazy. My brother put this in perspective. Think about being a borderline billionaire movie star. And be like, nah, I'm going to be hated. Like the girl, like apparently there's this little girl crying on video, like, I can't believe The Rock is a bad person. Why is he doing this? Because they don't know.
Oh, don't talk about Meek like that.
Get out, Rock.
Meek, you making it so hard,
I know.
bro. You're
That
making
was
it so
fire.
hard for us to
We were
defend
all
you.
Meek in that moment, bro. We
But
wanted to get
then
up.
I watched there's like a
Get up, Rocky! Come on, Rock, get him!
So Mark, there's a 7-minute clip. I watched 5 minutes. I saw a 5-minute clip of like they bring out John Cena, they bring out The Rock, The Undertaker makes an appearance, and the way they fucking deliver with every one of these massive cameos, it's like perfect. You're watching it. I don't know any of this wrestling shit. I'm watching this. When The Undertaker comes on, I'm like, I'm so hyped.
Do you want to see the highlights?
Yeah.
I don't know what we can play in the full, but just to get the vibe.
So they bring out like every Hall of Fame potential GOAT wrestler. They bring them back if they can for this. And then they have this guy, Cody Rhodes, win. And again, years in the making.
Wow.
And then this guy, Roman Reigns, they love him so much as the girl is announcing the new champion and like Roman's losing the title. And they kind of think this is the beginning of him retiring. She's literally crying as she's making the announcement. Like, everybody's so invested in the story. They all acknowledge it's fake, basically. Everybody's aware it's fake. And it's just like character development, storytelling. It's fucking unbelievable. My respect for wrestling skyrocketed after just watching these 5 minutes and my brother filling me in. Like, Roman Reigns is a superstar because he was like, hey, here's how I'm going to develop a character that's going to have nuance to it. And apparently he's like very different than just like the over-the-top heels that we grew up watching. It's like a lot of like he manipulates people, and it's like almost like watching. It's almost like cinematic. And then there are obviously freak athletes, and then he also said Logan Paul is like amazing as a wrestler, and fans want to hate him. But even the people are like, yeah, he still sucks as a person, but he's fucking good at this. Speed came out, he got KO'd. They just like went so fucking hard for this.
Where was it?
Philly. Over 2 nights, too. Now it's over 2 nights. When we were kids, it's 1 night. So over 2 nights.
Wow.
So they don't just build for years with story. They build to the second night. They have 1 night. Shit is going to happen, of course, but that's just building more hype.
And if you're a real wrestling fan, you're going to both.
You're going to
There's
both.
no
and
way
they
that
fucking
you only go to
deliver.
one.
Like, to build the hype and then deliver is one of the hardest things. And they just apparently nailed it.
And they've transitioned pretty quickly to into not having Vince McMahon involved at all.
Well, apparently the Triple H took over. You remember Hunter? Apparently he took it to new heights. Him and Roman Reigns together like really took it to, and by every metric.
Really?
Well, I mean, we don't just necessarily watch as much because there's so many, but like online impressions. I think pay-per-views for this were the highest ever. Like by every metric, it's never been more popular.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Did you watch it growing up as a kid?
I watched it for like 2-3 years. Probably we all watched at the same time. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. The Rock was. You would be like, "Hey man, what do you want to eat for dinner?" And then the guy would start answering. It doesn't matter what. All we did was live as The Rock. It was an unbelievable time.
It was incredible.
And then the sucking shit. It was fantastic.
I went to one when I was a kid.
Really? How
I was
it?
really young, and it was out in New Jersey. It was cool. I got to see the Ultimate Warrior. I think it was Ultimate Warrior, and then Undertaker. I think they fought or something like that. But yeah, it was really cool. I mean, completely sold out. This massive arena. You're just watching wrestling, and this was back in the day. I'm sure it's the same now, but where we're like the first few matches you don't really know the guys,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
just
we
doing
care.
interesting stuff, physical stuff, but the storylines aren't that like pervasive. But the headline matches were always really interesting, and like that music hits and just
Different.
it goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes crazy.
They've really got this down.
What do you mean that they say that it's fake now?
So apparently, my brother told me like when they were saying there were sports, there's like all these regulations you got to go through. You got to go through commissions. There's taxes you got to pay. And Vince publicly was like, you know what? It's fake. This is entertainment. And then you don't have to go through nearly as many hurdles.
we
You
like it
don't-
more knowing that it's fake.
Yeah, and I think I think he was like, everybody knows anyway.
Yeah.
Now my brother said he went to one of these things and he was sitting up top and he was like kind of shocked how many people still believed it's real. But online. And the online community of wrestling is going to be huge.
But
and
believing
powerful,
believing it's real is like believing
Reality
Avengers. No, actually, I would say believing reality TV is more plausible. Believing it's real is like believing Avengers, in that like we know that this is a movie, but we are submitting ourselves to the movie. So
Yeah.
when someone we care about dies, we get emotional. When something really awesome happens, we get excited.
Yeah.
And we know it's all fake. We know it's all orchestrated.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We are submitting ourselves to the story. And that's the power of story. To what you were saying is it seems like they've really gotten into the story of these characters. And now I'm just believing the characters. And the wrestling is an excuse to tell the story.
Yeah.
Whereas when
it's non-gay soap opera. If you're a
Right.
guy, you don't feel embarrassed about watching the soap opera.
And then when we were down in Mexico, we were watching that Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
Like to me, and again, there might be stories that are like built in for generations, and yeah, I don't know. But for me, it seemed like it was much more about the acrobatics.
Yeah, the sport.
Yes, where it was just like the choreography was insane. There's 3 people, and there's like 3-on-3 matches the whole time, and it was really awesome what they were doing. But I don't even know if they talked.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember if they were talking at all.
Yeah.
But it was really awesome. The choreography was awesome, but a little bit different than this, where it's like all that cheering and insane explosions of the reactions came from one choke slam.
Yeah.
It's just tension.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, what else we got, my boys?
I wonder how much Rock gets for coming back.
Apparently, I think he's involved. He's like a full board member or something. He's like up there with the company that acquired WWE, TKO or something they're called. I could be wrong about that, but so that's yeah. And then it was kind of cool to just be like, you know what, I'm getting pushback on being the main event, even though I'm gonna get the most. So let's just have some fun. I'm gonna turn heel, and apparently he's really good as a heel. Like wrestling fans who are into story are like, he's fucking great as this, and better than he is as Dwayne Johnson. Like he's great at this. Apparently cussing like. To the point that they're having to edit him a bunch, and it's just like, what's going on here? But he's just in it, and they love that.
Well, he also played a villain. Or he played Black Adam as like the first villain he did.
Ah,
Yeah, so it might be like a.
He started as a heel.
He started heel.
Yeah.
started heel.
yeah.
He started heel, but he was so funny
Yeah.
that people
That he
just loved
became-
him. They had to build into the storyline that he was because I remember he was supposed to be a heel, but he'd get such a big pop that I was like 14. I'm watching. I'm like, they can't keep. I remember being like, they can't keep him as a bad guy, right? Like we love him.
Yeah.
He's so funny. That's the power of funny. He just won off of humor.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to see Stone Cold.
What else we got, boys?
I mean, we can talk about the squatter thing.
Oh yeah. What's up with the
The
squatter?
squatter thing is interesting, dude. The squatter thing is very interesting. Have you heard about this?
Yeah. No,
So it's-
I've had to deal with it. Yeah.
So like, it just is like a huge thing. I was even looking it up to see like what is going on. Like, it's just like super popular, especially as of last month. Like,
Yeah.
it's being covered everywhere, and like the headlines are crazy. Like, there's a bunch of headlines where it's like, man prevents family from retiring in dream home with Down syndrome son. Like, squatter prevents a family from retiring their dream home. Like, man wins a dead woman's home, and like there's just like insane stories of like this Beverly Hills mansion across the street from LeBron James that's like overrun with like squatters that are just using it to like party. It's like a $4 million property.
Wow.
So just so we can, kind of explain and like, set the tone of this conversation. Everybody should know what squatting is. If you don't, there are, I guess, some sort of protections for.
This shit goes deep.
Yeah.
I did not realize
Yeah.
how like complicated and nuanced this is.
So a squatter is somebody that goes and lives in a home that's not theirs.
Yeah, that's how it's understood.
That's how it's
Yeah,
understood. Now, it appears that there are some protections for people that do this.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, break it down.
So there's a bunch of things. So this one is just funny. I just bring this up because it's like the most crazy example. This is literally in the middle of Beverly Hills. If you look at like the map of people around him, it's like LeBron James, like John Legend is right there.
Yeah.
And the guy's hilarious. He's like this Italian dude.
One all-night bash drew 645 revelers and didn't end until 9 a.m.
Was this turned into a nightclub essentially?
Better than that. It's a mansion. You know, I mean, it was classier than that, I would say. I had like
But this was basically a party house, no?
At some point, yeah.
Here's what
It's so funny. You're like, so this is a nightclub. He's like, it's not a nightclub. I'm not a fucking animal. And then they ask the guy, they're like, so are you going to stay here for a while? He's like, no, I might move on to something nicer. Maybe get a different mansion or something like that. This dude's hilarious. But there's just a bunch of these happening all over the country that people are talking about. So
How does it happen?
it goes all the way back to the medieval ages, medieval
wow.
times, feudal
Okay.
times.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally, like I didn't realize this shit went so far back. It goes back even farther than that. Like there's like rules in like Roman law about like how to deal with like land disputes.
Okay.
So basically, it's this thing called adverse possession.
Okay.
So hypothetically, we're two like nobles back in medieval England, right? We have like a bunch of land that's near each other. And we're talking like hundreds of acres that's like just sort of like given to you from like you inherited it, whatever.
Yeah.
And like in between your land, there's like some land that no one's using. It's just like not being, you can't go all the way over there. It's like hundreds of acres away. It's like, and no one's looking at it, no one's seeing it.
Yeah.
So what they kind of had was like common grounds where like, if some dude just kind of came by and like set up a house there, he could just kind of like use the land. And if you never said anything about it, over a certain period of time, it would just become his. And kind of the reason this would happen is like, you basically have a guy that lives there. He builds up a house. He has a bunch of kids. His kids have kids. All of a sudden now he's a community of like 100 people in a tiny little village, hundreds of miles away from anyone. It prevents the noble's like great grandson from pulling up being like, hey,
This is mine.
this is actually mine. It basically gives them the right to say, hey, we've been here for 50 years. I don't know anything about you. My great great grandfather was on this land. This land is ours. And it gives them the protection to say, like, if you're here and no one says shit about it for a certain period of time, you can have it.
This is, yeah, and it sounds ridiculous, but think about it. There is a time where literally all the land was owned by, how many nobles are there? You have the kingdom and then you have the nobles. So let's just call it 50 people. Maybe it's less. And they just parceled up all the land. They're not even using it. They're not even looking at it. So it does kind of make sense in a way to create some like democratization of the land that you let other people have the right to squat.
And it basically gives like an incentive to like use it or lose it, basically.
Yes.
So like use the land, make something out of it. And if you're not really doing anything about it and you don't say anything, then someone else that's using it, the government will be like, yeah, we like this community.
So
'cause
was
they're
this like
doing
written into law by the kingdom? Why
was-
would the kingdom? Because the kingdom was like, I could just fucking take all this land. Why
it was
would I-
basically understood as British common law.
Yeah.
And like the British royal at the time, I think it was like Henry the First or some shit, was basically like, we're gonna permit this because like these peasants need some place to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if
it
they
was-
did want to take your land, they still would take it.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like this idea, like, to a certain extent, use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's say you have like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of
We're
acres.
talking about huge swaths of land.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
also- you're
a
not
state.
seeing other people.
It's an entire state.
Yeah,
You're not
literally.
even seeing somebody.
Yes.
You don't even know that they're on your land. Do you just get to keep that because you guys declared it years ago? You just happen to be a noble person.
And your great great grandfather, you've been here 5 generations.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of like extends even like to modern America, where it's like, let's say you have 2 ranchers, right?
Yeah.
And they have 2 ranches. Again, we're talking hundreds, thousands of acres right next to each other.
Yeah.
And you build a fence, and it kind of is hard to like demarcate exactly where one land starts and one land ends. Let's say it's over like 100 feet, and it stays like that for 50 years. And then all of a sudden you look at the title and you're like, wait a second, our land is 50 feet over that way. That's like 30 acres. That's ours. You can't then go and be like, hey, give it to us. Because basically you've said like, this fence is here, enough time has passed, you haven't said anything about it, so tough shit.
This is how Brooklyn and Queens got separated. There's no reason why they should be separated. It's literally one island. It's just a dumb line that goes like crazy down certain streets in Brooklyn and Queens. But it was the Dutch and the English couldn't settle. It was 2 people, basically the Dutch of Bushwick and the English of Ridgewood, or vice versa. And they had a big argument, and they literally could not find the middle ground. And then they found a rock called Arbitration Rock, because the government was finally like, we got to start putting lines down and keeping these people away from each other. And they made a rock the middle point of Brooklyn and Queens.
Weird.
Wow.
And so for a certain period
That
of time,
rock still there?
Yep.
Oh, fire.
Now, that is frustrating, that ranch shit. Just because someone put the fucking fence wrong, they get to keep the land.
you got to say something about it. you got to be like, wait a second, this fence is actually wrong. And if it's within, like, most places have like 20 or 30 year windows.
But aren't we incentivizing people to put the fence wrong?
Yeah, this happens in like in Florida all the time. People will put their fence on that side of someone's property line, and if they can hold it for 20 years, they get another 2 feet.
But that's also
I don't love this just because we're incentivizing people to
be
take
correct.
advantage of their neighbor.
But you could then just be like, hey, you took my shit, and then take it to a civil court, and then the court would be like, yeah, they have to move it, and then they're fined or something.
Sure, but now the burden is on me to hire a lawyer to spend money because this person did something that was
It's a net loss either way.
unethical.
I don't gain 2 feet on their side if they do it. If there was a punishment like, hey, if you do this and you're wrong, you lose 2 feet.
They have to
That
pay
would
to
be-
pull the fence up and shit.
But basically,
but that's
the
not-
law
sorry.
They have to
prevents.
pay to put it there. Like,
Yeah, that's still no gain.
they
for-
should pay to pull the fence up. They put it in the wrong place knowing.
Listen up, noodle dicks. You know what that blue light means? That means it's time for Blue Chew. I can't lift my legs up as high as Schultz. I have very tight hip flexors. Anyway, you know what's not tight? Probably your dick game. Probably loose, weak as fuck, weak hips. You're not doing anything right. That's why you got to get on Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the perfect thing to give yourself for the girl you love, the girl you care about, the girl you want to impress. Ladies, if you got a man probably not that great at sex, which, let's be honest, is most of you, get him some Blue Chew. Help him step the game up. You know what I mean? PEDs are legal in this game. So BlueChew.com. And if you use the promo code FLAGRANT, you get your first month for free. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping for handling. That's a special deal for just our listeners. Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code FLAGRANT at checkout. Again, that's BlueChew.com, promo code FLAGRANT, and visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information because you still got to be safe in multiple ways. And as always, thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. Day one sponsors, damn near. Probably our first sponsors, most loyal, and we're loyal to them like we're loyal to our ladies. Good dick. I don't got it, but I can get it. All right, guys, we got to talk about something important. Sometimes you might get injured because of someone else's negligence, maybe even maliciousness. But oftentimes, one guy's negligence causes another person to get hurt. And what you might not realize is you can get a settlement if you're one of those people getting hurt. So if you're in an accident, not calling a lawyer means you could be leaving money on the table. And when you are seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, we've talked about on this podcast. They are America's largest injury law firm. They have recovered over $20 billion for over 500,000 clients. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. So, if you are injured because of someone else's negligence, that sucks. You got to go through the medical procedures. You got to go through the insurance companies. That's all hard, but what's easy to do is submitting a claim with Morgan & Morgan. If you are ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, and this is important. Their fee is free unless you win. For more information, all you got to do is go to forthepeople.com/flagrant or dial pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. Again, that is forthepeople.com/flagrant or pound law pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. Let's get back to the show.
The law prevents like squabbling after a certain period of time. So if you didn't say shit for 30 years, it's like, we're not going to go back and forth and waste resources to try to figure this out. It just is.
But let's say, for example, and again, I'm just trying to, to me, the issue is not the guy who makes the mistake. The issue is that now the system has incentivized, let's say we own this big ranch land, right? You and I both were neighbors, and you just go, hey, Schultz, I want to set up just like a fence because I have some sheep that I want to keep in. I don't want them going onto your land. I know that, you protect your land, you keep it a certain way. I just want to. And I go, oh, it's a great idea, Mark. You propose the plan. I agree with the proposed plan. Then you go put in the fence, and then you have this new plan where you're taking another 30 acres from me. I'm agreeing to your proposed plan, but I'm not walking in there and checking every single stump. Like, I don't know. Like, you're so incentivized to fuck me by the law, where the law should be punishing people that fuck their neighbors over.
Well, I don't know exactly, but I think there are punishment if you like lose in civil court. Like, you're fine, and I think you then have to like settle with the person that you stole from.
Yeah, you should have to give them something.
It should.
That's how I understand it.
If you can prove that someone did it on purpose, this should be viewed as theft.
Yeah, and I think it is, and I think you.
And that's grand larceny. That's jail.
Yeah, depending
on the amount of land that was stolen. It's really fucked up. Anyway, go on.
So there's some periods of time where people actually like squatters. Post World War II in England, all of London is bombed. You have all these baby boomers coming home, and basically you have like a housing crisis. And so these British people are then finding like dilapidated, like derelict homes that got bombed. They're kind of just like pulling up, fixing it, turning it into like livable communities. And people are like, wow, look at the British people. They're not homeless. They're actually like industrious and making the best of their situation. So for
Another-
a period, they were like praised.
And then what did hold on? And then what about what do the people that owned those homes that were bombed do
A
with
lot
the
of people
squatters?
fucking just died. So it's like no one is looking after this. We don't know whose it is. Like there's not like record keeping that's perfect. It's all on paper that got burned in some like firebombing. What is it?
Okay, I get. So I'm not even looking at that as a squatter. I only see a squatter as somebody who is living in a home or area or
That's the
space that
weird
is
thing.
owned by someone else.
That's what actual squatting is.
right.
So for it to be considered actual squatting, it needs 5 things, sometimes 6. It needs to be hostile. This one's actually interesting. You have to take it without some type of or like contract or some type of understanding that it's owned by someone else. So you can't have like a lease and then overstay it. That's no longer a squatter. That's like a holdover tenant. So it has to be hostile where you don't have some type of like written agreement. It has to be actual. You have to be living there and like improving the place and living as if you were the owner, paying taxes and shit. Open and notorious. You can't be hiding or like being protective. You have to just be like walking around doing shit like how you normally would. Continuous. It has to be the full length of the time. You can't just show up like once a year. And then in some places it has to be in good faith, meaning that you have to have some type of reasonable reason that you can present in front of a judge that you would get this land or you would get this home.
Right.
So those are like the 5 things. Like Louisiana has an interesting one where it's like you just need to basically have it for 30 years uninterrupted and you can keep it. Like theirs is like even more loose. And it exists because it gives ownership. It basically like there's a bunch of reasons. It gives a statute of limitations to like land squabbling back in the day.
Right.
It makes people kind of like cure minor defects within like a lease. Let's say like you sell me a piece of land and you're like, yeah, it's everything including the lake or including the pond.
Yeah.
And then in the title it gets fucked up and it doesn't include the pond, but I keep the land.
Yeah.
And if no one says anything about the pond, then the pond is mine after 30 years just because it was originally in the verbal contract there, but not in the title.
Got it.
So it like settles up like that minor little thing. And then also like it gives that productivity of land thing, use it or lose it. So what's happening now is nothing to do with squatting.
Got it.
So all of these stories that people are looking at are called squatters' rights, but it's not
They're
squatting
basically
at all.
taking advantage of a system that people did find advantageous for potentially everybody. And now they're just using it in their favor legally.
Kind of. Like it's barely even that because it's like, it's basically just like tenant rights.
Yeah.
And so, which basically has nothing to do. So whenever people call squatters' rights, it's sort of a misnomer.
Right, because squatting seems so much more salacious. Just a random stranger breaks into your home and just
It's a
lives
term
there.
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and we call them
Yeah.
squatters.
Vivid. Yeah, it paints a
Yeah.
picture in your head.
Yeah. So it makes sense. But under the law, like I don't think there's any like clear legal definition.
Okay, so all these stories are
They're interesting. So it's like the story that people are talking about is like, okay, you go on vacation for 3 weeks and then someone pulls up in your house and then they can just live there and you can't get them out and then the government fucks you. That's like what the story is. Some of the stories are even like some woman went out for groceries and then came back and someone was living in her house and then she couldn't get them out.
Yeah, these
Right.
don't sound real.
Yeah, that one is not real.
Yeah.
Like you can basically call the police, be like, hey, there's a breaking and entering.
Yeah.
The police show up and they're like, hey, are you the tenant that lives here? And the guy's like, yes, I am. And they're like, oh, can you just show me your ID, show me a piece of mail, show me a lease, show me anything? And if they don't have that, they'll get arrested immediately.
Got it.
It's just
Yeah.
breaking and entering. So like the law protects that.
Yeah.
And so basically in New York, you have a thing where if you live in a place for over 30 days, then that's when they get tenant rights.
Even if you are living there illegally.
Yes.
Like, let's say, for example, I went on vacation, somebody moved into my home, I come back after 30 days,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy short.
They get tenant rights.
Yeah.
they get tenant rights. And then what is the justification for that?
I'm assuming it basically protects people from having like oral agreements. So you go on vacation, you're like, yeah, Mark, you can stay in my place, jerk off in my shower, whatever you want to do. And then you leave, you can't just come back and be like, this guy's blah, 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 he's in my place. And it's like, dude, you told me I could stay here for 6 months.
Write up a contract. Like, that's an easy solution.
But then you tear up the contract. This is back in the day when it's like a piece of paper, you can just tear it up, you can
So
lose the
this is a
contract.
law that needs to be changed, basically.
Yeah, a lot of people are suggesting that.
Yeah.
The 30-day tenancy law. And then tenant rights would be like, you can't turn off the electricity, you can't turn off the water, you can't change the locks.
Back
That's
in the day,
the shit that sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a landlord, you still have to, even if this person is squatting or just staying there unlawfully, you still have to keep the electricity on, you still have to maintain the place. If you stop doing any of those things, now you're in violation of their rights and they they can, one, stay there longer and make a case for not having to pay because.
And is the justification for this innocent until proven guilty? In other words, if somebody is there for a certain amount of time, the state assumes that they have a legal reason to be there. And until that is disputed in court.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas if you're the landlord, you know if somebody is living there illegally, but based on our justice system, they cannot assume that this person is breaking the law.
And the
They
cops
must
pull
assume-
up.
Yes.
The cops pull up, and then you have mail that's in your name with the address, and you maybe have like a fake lease or something, and the police are like, we can't take this person out, we can't evict them. So now this is a civil matter that has to be taken care of. And
then until it's getting taken care of in court, you get to stay there and live there. Got it. Okay. Now I understand how it's taking advantage of our justice system, with the assumption of innocence. I understand why those rights exist.
And there used to be no tenant laws, and tenants used to get fucked all the time.
Yes.
Some guy would be like, oh, I don't like you because...
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, you're dating a black girl.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a racist dude. Fuck you. I'm turning your electricity off. Get the fuck out of my place.
Hey, your kids are too loud. They're screaming. They're waking people
Turn
up.
the water
Get the
up.
fuck out.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. So these laws in New York, well, I imagine around the country, they had to be created to protect people that were being put under abusive conditions by their landlords.
Like unions.
Right.
Necessary.
Right.
to
There were
form
potentially abusive conditions, and you want to protect these people.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense.
Some cases, people even get scammed. So, like, what this guy with the mansion is kind of alleging is, like, you go out of town for 2 months. Let's say you leave for 6 months. You're going to your fucking other house, whatever, right? Someone comes in, they change all the locks, they get mail delivered, they're now squatting, and then they find someone to say, hey, I'm gonna give you a lease for the place. I'm the owner. Do you want a great deal on a apartment?
Oh, fuck.
And so now a family, let's say a couple or a single mom and her kid, are now getting put into an apartment.
By the guy who originally
squatted.
squatted. But because they have tenants' rights now.
So now you come back and you're like, yo, why the fuck are you in my house? And they're like, what? It's
I
not
have
your
a lease,
house.
I'm paying
This
money.
is Steve's house, and he
Yeah.
gave me the lease.
Wow.
And you're like, no, it's my house. And then it's like, what are we doing? I've been living here for 4 months while you were gone.
And I have to assume that you're innocent. So we will bring this to the courts, and the courts will decide.
That person kind of is innocent because they didn't know they were
100%.
breaking the law.
Yeah, I just didn't realize how important the presumption of innocence is in these cases. Because we're all looking at these people like they are bad people. You're living in a place that is not yours. You're fucking over this landlord.
And some people do that.
Yeah, of course. I imagine
happens.
the majority of the most salacious stories that we hear about are in the example of this. The stories that you hear in the news, like this guy just broke into this home, he's not paying any money, refuses to leave, and this is this person's retirement, and now he's forced to go back and get a job at Walmart because he can't pay his bills because he's got the squatter. That's that story.
Yeah.
But there are these stories where people are taken advantage of, and they have these tenants' rights. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. Keep going.
So then how do you evict someone after they take over your place? There's a bunch of ways it happens. Like COVID kind of exacerbated the issue because then there were all these moratoriums on eviction.
Right.
Airbnb caused a lot of problems because someone will get an Airbnb, get it for 3 days, pay the $500, and then just not leave.
Stay there. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. You got that. That happened to Alex.
And that happens all the time. And
Now, in order for that person to not be evicted, they have to be there for more than 30 days.
Yeah.
And in your circumstance, they were there for more than 30.
Yeah.
And then
How long did they
manage.
rent it?
I made the mistake. They did Airbnb for a week.
And then
They were like,
Yo, I'll do it
I'll hit you
privately."
direct and
Yeah.
you'll make more money. And then so after we did that, he just paid me for a week. And then he's like, I'm not paying anymore. And I was like, all right, get out. He's like, no, I'm not going anywhere.
Was
And
he there
then
for more than 30 days?
He was there for 6 months.
No, I mean, before he told you he's not leaving.
Yeah, by that time, I think it hit a month by that time.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
he knew
he
the
knew-
game
yeah,
he was
he knew
playing.
the game.
He has to get to a month. Once he's there for a month and he's getting mail, he
Yeah.
has all these things done.
And like he started off super nice, super like, I was like, oh, great tenant. I didn't think that he would try to fuck me over because he was like super nice. And then
And the house was
moment,
fucked when he left, right?
Yeah. Like left. Yeah, everything was trash, fucking cigarette butts everywhere. Like it was disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucked me up for 6 months.
Wow.
yeah, it's a bitch. So like in order to evict someone in New York, you have to file a formal eviction notice, 10-day notice on the door, basically say like, hey, get the fuck out. If they ignore that, then there's a petition for special proceedings. They have to go to a court.
Yeah.
Look at Al getting PTSD as you're bringing all this up.
Bro,
Yeah.
it was so bad.
The squatter has to appear in court. They either appear and then the judge almost always rules not in favor of the squatter. Like it's very rare for a squatter to get it because like we said, you have to have all of these other things to
Yeah.
classify as a squatter. My shit is getting emails, I don't know.
Just
But a lot of times they
exit that
will
tab.
make up a reason why they need to postpone the date, so they just push it further.
Yeah. Then you can filibuster.
So now you got to take off of work. You got to stop your life to make sure you show up. Because if you don't show up, then usually
And it's
rules on
costing
their
you money,
Yeah.
and you're paying for utilities,
Yep.
and you're paying for gas, and you're
So
paying for
this
all
is
shit.
so interesting.
And they're fucking up your whole house.
Yep.
And they're almost incentivized to fuck up the house because if they fuck it up, you might be like, yo, it's not worth it. And
it's
you
not
might-
worth it to what?
to keep fighting.
Take this back. Like, you fucked it up so bad. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna pay $50,000 in repairs. Yeah, I just don't
Oh,
want
so
it.
there are some people that actually give up the home.
I guess.
Yeah, it's just not worth
But
the
you would
legal
still
battle.
have to pay back the mortgage, right? Because that's a loan from the bank.
It
so.
depends. Like, who knows? Maybe you inherit the house. It's worth like 50,000. You have a ton of money. It's like some shitty shack. The guy's a drug addict. He keeps it, trashes it, and you're like, I'm gonna have to pour 100 to even get this.
It's
back
not
to
even worth
working.
it. Oh yeah.
I'm out.
This is a time where you understand why Texas is so pro-gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got like castle doctrine and shit. You can just like pull up and be like, yo, get the
Get
fuck
the
out.
fuck out.
Yeah.
It's really interesting though. So these people are taking advantage of a policy that was made to protect tenants from abusive landlords.
Yeah.
So we like the policy because there were abusive landlords.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
just kick people out for no reason.
Yeah.
The policies are good. Now the landlord's got to behave. Now you got to treat those people in there well. And you should have a good relationship between you and the landlord because you both have a little bit of power in this circumstance. The landlord's a piece of shit. You could withhold paying, and now this landlord's fucked, and he doesn't want that. And now you're sitting there for 6 months before you can even get somebody out of the home.
Yeah.
And now he's 6 months out of rent. Think about that. That's horrible. Okay, let's be nice to each other and let's make sure that we really pick tenants that we're going to respect and care for and everything's going to be good. Symbiotic relationship. These people come in, they go, ooh, there's really favorable tenant rules and I just need to trick them into letting me be here for a month. Got it. Most
Yeah.
people don't even know this.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they
I'm
stay
gonna
there
take
for
care of
6
it.
months, and then they bounce to another spot, stay there for 6 months, stay there for 6 months. These people are like typically criminals, drug addicts, mentally ill, something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Or they'll get a roommate and live with a roommate and then change the locks on the roommate and be like, I got your place.
No way.
Yeah. Crazy. So this happens all the time. So it's like you kind of got to try to fix the tenant like rights thing without fucking over tenants.
Yeah.
And creates like, how do you quickly find out if someone is fraudulently living there?
It's really expediting that process.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you live in a city with 8 million people, I imagine those court systems are completely
Yeah.
backed up. There's a million different cases they're bringing that have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
So they're also taking advantage of how backed up our system is. It's not very efficient.
Yeah.
And how do we prove that somebody should legally live there or not? You can't trust the landlords in a lot of circumstances because they're going to do anything to get people out.
Yeah.
And you can't trust the tenants because they're manipulating the system like this.
And then some of them are just stuck in the crossfire where it's like, yo, I got a lease from this guy and now I'm
I mean,
in this
that's
place.
the craziest scenario. You are actually a good citizen.
Yeah.
You're a good person. You're paying the bills.
You
You,
pay
would have
cash.
paid the landlord.
Yeah, you pay cash to this guy every single month.
Yeah.
And then he leaves town and you can't get in touch with him. And it's like,
As the owner of the place, you can't do anything to that person. Like,
Yeah.
you can't threaten them with violence. You can't.
Ow, that person's
Bruh.
innocent.
That shit was
Infuriating. I can imagine.
Yeah.
But that is our justice system, right? It's the presumption of innocence.
Yeah.
And that's why it even has to go to court. We know this person's breaking the law. You know they're breaking the law. They know they're breaking the law. It doesn't matter. We got it on video. We have everything that we need until the court decides that that is the case, which, like you said, most of the times it does decide that.
yeah,
You can't do anything. Oof, that is.
it's wild, right?
And then why do you think that this is so popular right now?
So this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. These articles that I read you before. Squatter wins the house of a dead woman.
Yeah.
All those headlines go crazy. If you search like squatter wins home, that's like 20 articles. And it's this one dude in England, which again, they kind of have like different squatters' rights laws that are like actually go back even farther. This is an actual squatters' rights situation. So the headline is squatter wins the house of a dead woman. Everyone's pissed off. Basically what happens is there's a guy that sees a decrepit house. It's all fucked up. It's falling apart. He's like a contractor working in the neighborhood, and this house is just destroyed. He asked the people in the neighborhood, he's like, what's up with this house? And they're like, oh, it's been this way for like 5 years. It's just like, there's rats in it. There's crackheads running in and out of it. Like, it's fucked. And he was like, oh, okay. And so he kind of asks around. He's trying to see who owns it. He can't get in touch with anyone. This is 97. So he just starts fixing it. And he just starts building up the house. And he does it over the course of like 3-4 years. Everyone's like, wow, this is amazing. Everyone in the neighborhood really likes
They
it.
love it. Now you don't have this decrepit crack house in your neighborhood that's pulling the property value down.
Literally. So then he starts building up the house, doesn't hear anything from anyone, tries to get in touch, can't get in touch with the owner. Like no one knows who is actually owning it. Calls the bank foreclosed that he was actually like managing with. He basically keeps it. And then in 2012, the owner comes back and he's like, yo, what happened to the house? And the guy's like, oh, now the guy that originally owned it is like 80. Basically, what happened was he was living there with his mom. His mom died in like 1990. He ends up moving and going somewhere that leaves the house to ruin. This guy finds it, fixes it up, moves his family in there, lives in it, becomes a member of the community. And then this dude comes back and he's like, yo, give me my house back. And the guy's like, I've been living here, bro. You haven't been here.
Didn't the
15
bank
years.
foreclose? It's not his house anymore.
So technically he owned it outright, but the bank that gave him the original loan was no longer there. So he couldn't get in touch with whoever the actual owner was.
So it's his house, though.
So according to the law in England at the time, I think it was like 10 years. So because he had lived in there for 10 years, it was his. And everyone in the community was like...
I mean, he's a definitional squatter, whereas these people are not. These are scammers.
These people are trespassers and...
I mean, I like that this guy allegedly did the due diligence to find the dude. Who knows if he actually did? He might have just taken advantage of, an opportunistic situation.
Yeah, but you're still building up a thing in the community. It's good.
I don't care. If it's mine, I could let... Now, I think the community, and I think in America... the community would have standards for your home. For example, like you have to cut your lawn a certain, what is it, the HOA association? Like, so like HOAs would be like, hey, you have to make sure the outside is more or less clean. The lawn is cut. You have a responsibility to your community. You can't let it become decrepit. And if it does, I think the HOA can actually kick you out of the community.
The city can too.
Oh,
There's
sorry
like
to
city
cut you
ordinances.
Go.
The most infuriating part was when that guy was squatting in my place. It was wintertime. I still had to go over there and shovel.
No way. Why did you have to shovel?
Because the HOA. I would get tickets. I would get tickets.
Oh my God.
Bro, I was so tight.
Oh, no. Fucked up. He's inside drinking coffee while you're shoveling the fucking front
I would
lawn.
have lost it.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, you got too much patience. That's crazy.
No, I got about.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so there's a circumstance. Like if you bought some shit, or you inherited, whatever it is, that is yours, bro. That just because somebody fixed it up don't mean he gets to keep it.
No, that's what the law says.
Yeah, but
I don't know about all
But then
that.
if you let it go and now it's ruining the neighborhood, it's like you should be penalized.
That's what I feel.
No, you should be responsible, and the neighborhood should be able to contact you and tell you and give you warnings and say, hey, if you're not going to do this, then we are going to force you to sell the home or whatever it is. The bank will hold the money in escrow until you're ready to claim it. You can't just let this house become dilapidated. But the idea that somebody can just fix your shit up without you even knowing, and he allegedly reached out to you, which I don't know if I buy that.
How many years passed?
10.
Yeah, I think after a certain period, I actually like that rule.
10
After a
years you
certain
haven't
period,
looked at it, you don't value it.
Yeah.
Regardless if you value it or not, it's yours. Like somebody in your family
but you
worked hard
fucking
to
up
get it.
You fucking up the neighborhood.
Yeah, you're not valuing what your family worked hard for.
What I'm saying is I agree with you. It shouldn't be taken because he's not there for 10 years. It should be taken because of what he's doing to his neighbors for 10 years.
And then now for auction or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, like he has enough violations of HOA, and then it's given up for auction or whatever the fuck it is, and then that money is held for him. Yeah. It's not. It's not held by the HOA. It's just held, and then when he's ready to claim it, he goes and claims it.
You still, I think, need to disincentivize neglect.
Which is the fines, what you would get. That's what the HOA does.
So some people do that, where some people suggested that they basically put a tax on vacant property. That if you leave a property vacant for a certain period of time, you have an increased property tax. And Florida kind of does the opposite, where if you live in the place that you own, then you basically get like a homestead tax reduction, and you actually like save on taxes by living in the place.
Because you want to incentivize people to live in that place. I just don't like this idea that like you have to go live there, especially when it's an inherited.
You don't have to live there. You could just have a tenant.
You just keep it up.
Yeah.
Have someone come mow the lawn. Yeah, if there's some shit leaking, have someone come fix it.
What I'm saying to you guys is, whatever the standard is for the community, you should have to uphold that. And if you don't, then you can go take measures to sell it. But just because somebody else upholds the standard of the community and builds up the house doesn't mean it just becomes theirs. I don't want to incentivize that at all.
But it's like, let's say the owner of the Empire State Building just like is like, fuck it, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
And it just becomes this decrepit building.
Of course.
In the middle of like the jewel of America.
We would, first of all, step in way before that.
The city would try to do something.
They would step in and they'd be like, listen, if you're not going to upkeep this building, we're going to keep on fining you. And eventually you get to the point where you're not paying the fines. We're going to auction off this building. And then whatever that building makes after it pays off all the fines and all the money that the city had to invest to upkeep it can go into an account, and that is held for you. And it's going to be way less than if you built it up real nice and sold it. But that is your money. It's not the city's money.
So you're basically saying the city can seize it, but a person can't seize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by seizing it, they're selling it. So they're not taking it away. They're selling it for whatever value is there. And then you get to keep that value. But they're basically, or they're forcing you to sell it. And if the first thing is what people do when they kick you out of a community, right? I think like Nicki Minaj and her husband is a child sex offender, so she got I think kicked out of her community in LA. Did you guys see that story? Or like the community stepped up and they're like, we don't want a sex offender living in our area. Yeah. So I think they forced them to sell their home. So they had to sell their home. Now, if they're not willing to sell, I imagine it goes to court, and then maybe the court rules that they have to because the community said, and then they forcefully sell it, but they still get the money for their home.
You enjoy the value going back to the person who owned it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I just think that's fair.
I agree with that.
I don't mind it not going back at a certain point. That to me, it's a lot of it is just tied into the duration. Like 10 years of neglect is a long time of neglect, and my issue with the tenants' rights in New York is 30 days is not enough to be like, nah, I live here, you can't get me out.
Yeah, which
if
is
that time
different.
was a year and squatters' rights is 10 years, I'm okay with both those if the duration makes sense to me. 10 years makes sense to me. And that's really all I'm saying. And if it's 10 years of neglect, I don't feel you should be rewarded in any form or fashion for 10 years of neglect.
All this to say, people are reading the headline being like, oh, some dude went in there while they were on lunch and then stole the place. Not what happened.
Right.
There's another one that's even more interesting happening in New York.
This is the one Long Island?
It's like, yeah, it's in Little Neck, I think.
Great Neck?
Great, I don't remember. Somewhere in Long Island.
There's two necks out there.
Yeah, there's a couple necks.
Yeah.
And basically, this dude, Brett Flores, here's the story, okay, on its face. There's a guy that's living in a house. He owns the house. He's an old dude. He's got this caretaker that he's paying cash every week to take care of him. The guy basically tells him, hey, when I die, you get the house. The guy dies. The caretaker's like, sick, I got the house. Which, bad incentive. Don't tell your caretaker you get some shit if you die. Yeah. So then he dies, the guy gets the house. He's like, all right, bet, I got this house. That's sick. The house basically then goes into the ownership of like the trust of the guy.
Yep.
This dude that got it just had a verbal agreement that it was his, and now he's the tenant. He's just living there rent-free.
Yep.
It now gets sold, and then a family buys it. The land is family. They have like 3 kids. One of the kids has Down syndrome. And they include this in the story to be like, this is so fucked up. How are you going to do this? We're trying to raise our kid and retire in our dream home.
Yeah.
So now the family goes to try to live in the house, and they can't because this tenant is living in there, and he has all the legal rights. They have to keep on paying rent. They have to keep the heat on in the wintertime, and it's just the whole thing's fucked. That's the story.
Yeah.
What actually happened is fucking wild. Can you guess?
No.
The family that tried to buy the property cooperated with the tenant prior to the sale. Then said, hey, if you stay in the place and cause a problem, you will lower the value. Because they knew that there was an unruly tenant in the house when they bought it. So the original value was like 2.8. And what they eventually bought it for was like 2. Wow. And so they basically cooperated with the tenant to say, hey, you live in here, cause a problem, use your tenant's rights to like fuck up the sale for anyone else that's considering buying it, drive them out, and we will take on the sale knowing that there's an unruly tenant, and we'll give you like $100,000 to do it. And then once we come in, you got to get the fuck out. And the guy was like, deal.
Fire.
And then they renegotiated on the contract.
What does that mean? Then they renegotiate.
So they buy the house for $2 million, and then they go to the guy and say, all right, get the fuck out.
And then he says,
and the guy goes, where's the money? You promised me $100,000 to cause a problem. And they go, we're not paying you. Get the fuck out. And the guy's like, no, fuck you guys. I'm staying here. Pay me my money. And they're like, no, we're not doing it. They call the police. They try to get him out. They try to go through like the legal way to get a tenant out, and thinking like, yeah, it'll cost us like $40,000 to get him out. So we'll pay $40,000 to the city instead of $100,000 to this guy. They try to fuck him. And so the guy's like, nah, fuck it. I'm staying here. And he stays and basically like runs up this whole thing. And then the family goes to the paper and they're like, these squatters' rights, these tenants, they're fucking going crazy. Wild, right?
This family's a piece of fucking
scumbag.
shit.
Now, again, this is coming from that guy's attorney. So this is the attorney from the squatter that's saying that this is what happened. No one really knows because it hasn't gone to court yet. The guy's still living in the house. Yeah. But that is...
but the caretaker, was he the squatter or is that different? Okay.
The caretaker was a squatter, yeah. Okay. And apparently the lawyer has like a 1-hour phone call recording with the owners, the new owners, to basically like set up this conspiracy.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
That's the thing. You can't trust motherfuckers that are willing to do this.
Yeah.
Like if they're willing to screw these people over, they're willing to screw you over. You need everything in writing. And
I'll throw a bunch of allegedlys on this. I don't know what the actual details are. This is just what one article I read.
What an absolute scumbag. And that you can't trust a single headline anymore. Bruh. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Crazy. Just the story. Let's say if the story is false, like I guarantee people are going to try to do this when they go to buy a house.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah,
you're incentivized. Like, yo, I can get so much cut off this house. I just have to find a house who's like rent or rent to buy. Yeah. And then boom.
Yeah. This is not the same thing at all. But the more information you have going into like purchase a home, the better you are at negotiating, right? Like a friend of mine was purchasing an apartment, and he did his due diligence. We all know him, and he found out that it was being sold by a trust, and it was an inheritance trust. So the person dies, the home, like in this situation, goes into the trust. There's executors of the trust, right? Someone whose job it is to like divvy up all the things that person has. And then usually what they do is they sell the property and then disperse the capital through all the brothers or sisters or nieces and nephews, whatever. When you get something inherited to you and it's only coming in as cash, you're not as closely tied to the amount that it's worth because it was zero to you. And you're splitting it between 5 people. The second he found out about that, he starts bullying them on the price. He's like, oh, these guys just want money quick. They don't want to be
time. This means nothing to them. Selling your home, that's my home. I love
it's what you put into it and what
Yeah.
it means to you. It's also, you might need that money to buy a different
That's a
home.
great
right?
insight,
Like,
dude.
So he finds out this information and he bullies them fucking down. And it makes sense because, again, this money to them is free. They had $0, all these family members, and now they're standing to make, who knows, maybe 100,000 each. You're like, okay, so I could make 100,000 now, or I could make 85,000. I can make 100,000 potentially 2 months from now when I keep negotiating. Maybe this deal falls apart. Maybe there's another deal that happens. Maybe that deal falls apart. In the meantime, I got to pay the dues for the apartment. I got to upkeep this apartment. Now I have responsibilities to the apartment that I didn't have before. Or I can make 85 grand right now and
smart.
no issue.
It's fucking smart.
Yep.
Hooey.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
So all these headlines generally, not all, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of the headlines it seems like are kind of like out of context or cherry picked or lack the nuance. And they just enrage people.
So I was
People
talking
get fucking fired up.
I was talking to Rogan about this, and I wonder if, okay, you know how like our parents, maybe my parents are a little different, but like they can't really discern between like a Nigerian prince calling them and asking for tax money and then saying that they're going to make $3 million. They can't really discern between that and like a real call from AT&T that's saying, hey, your bill is past due. Like,
my parents are better than me, dude. They grew up in scam central.
okay, fair enough. But like the point I'm trying to make is an older generation is more used to the people that call their phone calling with truthful information. Right? And asking them and helping them about something. Right? Like, baseline, is that okay? Okay. I think we're in this generation where we were raised knowing there are some scams, but at least when it comes to the news, we saw headlines, we kind of trusted, right? And now our eyes are opening, like our parents' eyes are opening to the Nigerian scams. Like my mom might get a call now and she's like, what do you mean I don't even have an AT&T phone. Wait, why are you, this is a scam, I'm hanging up. We're doing that with news. Our parents aren't there with news. They trust news. They see this headline, this is what the fuck it is. We're going through this with news where we're like, ooh, I don't know if I can really trust headlines. My hope is that the generation below us,
I think they do,
sees every headline and reads it with the same scrutiny that we will hear a Nigerian prince phone caller or email scam.
They have high school classes about this.
Oh,
so my concern was, we're fucked. You can't believe a single thing. We're only fucked if the people knee-jerk believe the headlines. If the kids growing up know that all headlines are bullshit and they're salacious and they're just made for clicks, which they will because they grew up on YouTube.
They grew up
they're
learning about
thumbnail.
scams. Like we grew up learning about these phone scams.
And it's not even scam. It's like they're on YouTube clicking on things. And they're watching the video going, it's not really what that thumbnail made it seem like.
The way you saw your parents like get scammed or be on the phone and you're like, Mom, like you're not actually talking to a guy. They're like, I think our younger generation will see their parents being like, you really believe
you believe headlines? You believe the news?
Like just because they said this, you're getting annoyed about it and fired up. Like it's obviously not true.
So that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more hopeful, because the idea of just like every single headline that we read that is enticing is fake. It is 10 for 10. Every headline that is enticing is fake. How crazy is that?
Or it just lacks nuance. Like technically this guy did take a dead woman's home.
Okay. Yeah.
This caretaker
Let me
did squat.
clarify.
They find the way to come up with the best YouTube title.
Yes. It's all YouTube titles.
Yes.
It's
And it's like, when I say fake, it is true in that the words can be interpreted in a way that's true. But the way that it is presented, they are putting it out there in the world in a way that they know it will be misinterpreted
Yes.
for their benefit.
Whatever gets the most clicks. My
Yes.
wife is in journalism school at NYU, got a master's. She learned, she's like, it is what gets the most clicks and is still true enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta tell
enough.
the story, true enough.
Yeah.
And let's get the most clicks.
Yeah.
But now these kids will know that, and ideally will be kind of good, and they just won't click on shit. Or they'll click on it with skepticism, which maybe is good.
Yeah, I probably should do
That's
that regardless.
good.
Have you
I
heard
want-
that thing? Like, if there's a question in a headline, the answer is almost always no.
Yeah. Is Bill Gates really a lizard?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I forget it was like some journalism professor, like it's like the Zimmerman rule or some shit. Like if something has a question, it's like, yeah, probably not.
One thing I'm starting to realize is that, like, let's say these squatters' rights, we're seeing so many headlines about it, but I'm realizing the problem is never as bad as what the news is making it. Like, had the way that they're talking about crime in New York, crime is almost at an all-time low. But it's
Really?
But if you look at news and what the headlines are, you think it's
Getting
crazy.
punched in the face every day. Yeah.
So
But
I
it's
was
really,
talking
it's
to,
been better than.
I'm gonna piss my pants. Sorry,
I was talking to Rogan about this too. Like he was like, "How is New York?" And I'm sure, well, he's not here. He's just consuming content about New York, and the content looks wild. He's like, "But like, have you noticed the migrants or whatever?" And I was like, "Joe, New York is the most diverse city in the world. It is physically impossible to notice the migrants. It's just not possible. Like, if you lived in like if you lived in Montana, right?" And all of a sudden, a bunch of fucking Sudanese people are walking around. Yeah, you'd notice them.
Yeah. If you're in New York on a bus with Mexicans, you're in Spanish Harlem.
Exactly. you just there. It is not physically possible. So for people who are like, "Oh, the city's completely changed," one, those people probably. Let's say the city has gotten objectively more dangerous. Have you seen more crime? That is for people who probably haven't been here for 20 years. I've been here for 40 years, so I've seen it in ways that are so much more dangerous that it would blow all your mind.
Yeah.
New York is a fucking Apple store compared to when we grew
How
up.
was the Lower East Side when you were growing up?
Dude,
How was Williamsburg when you were growing up?
dude, it's Williamsburg was just straight Jewish. Like this idea, like we would drive through it. My dad would drive through it.
Trying to hit him?
No. He would just be like, "Hey, I want you to see this. This is like look at this city. Like there's this group of people that are living a completely different life. They're all dressing a different way." And he was just like, "Look how amazing this is. Like this is not even that far from where you live. Look at this." And we would drive through it. I remember when we were going out to the beach. And but like he would purposely want us to drive through this section. And I thought it was really cool. But yeah, this idea that it's different, it's impossible for New York to be more dangerous than it was when I was growing up. Like I can't even like the way that New York was dangerous, and that is when it was safe. New York in the 70s, people were breaking into your home. You know all the bars and the windows in the buildings? It's because you would show up and there'd be a Dominican guy in your living room just like ransacking your silverware.
Yeah.
This was like a normal thing.
Did your parents leave the car doors unlocked? Did you
No. Oh, so that they would just take the thing without
'cause, like,
breaking your window?
They would break your window and take your radio, so it's like just take.
No, we'd put the sign on the thing saying no radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just put a sign on your car and be like, "There's nothing here."
Crazy.
But every one of our cars got stolen. Every one of our North Faces got taken. Backpacks stolen. Like, it was so. Being robbed was so normal that I didn't know people didn't get robbed.
Bro, I was talking to Jamil about this. I was talking with Shifty. I was like, "Yeah, when I was a kid, I was afraid of like bears." And he was like, "When I was a kid, I was afraid of coyotes." I was like, "Jamil, what were you afraid of?" He was like, "Getting slashed in the face."
Yeah.
I was like, "Jesus."
Dude, I told you this before where like my middle school said, if anybody asks you the time, don't tell them. Because it was around like blood initiation time around Halloween. And they're like, "Please do not wear red. And if anybody asks you the time, do not tell them because they're going to use that as an opportunity to slash your face." We were 12.
Crazy.
So like this idea like, "Oh my God, New York is so dangerous." Yeah, for you guys that came from Maine, when we grew up here, the level of danger was compared to what people are used to now was incomparable.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
That's why I just hate the media, how they're just like scaring people and making it seem like it's horrible. and it's really not. But then you trick the people who don't have the nuance, like the older generation. My mom thinks New York is crazy right now.
So crime is lower than it was 10 years. Because when I moved to New
even
York
10 years ago.
08, and I'm like, I think I was moved in the safest time that's ever been in New York. From 08 till 2020. I was like, I would walk, New York Comedy Club was what, 24th and 2nd? I would walk home 50th and 8th, 2 in the morning, Saturday. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Still the same. It's still the same. I would say
train
2020
train vibes
probably
feel
just-
different to me. If I'm on the train, the whole energy feels different to me.
I think that what people are reacting to a lot more in New York is just, I think during COVID they had to let the crazies out or something. And I think that's it. Like when you see more crazy people on the street, that's fear-inducing because you don't know what they're gonna do or what they got.
Yeah.
So when I see a crazy person, I assume they got AIDS. Everyone. And
Same.
fighting a dude with AIDS is crazy.
Yeah, because even if you win, you lose.
You lose that fight.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of like
So funny. I think the exact same.
every crazy person got AIDS.
Yep.
And then we saw this homeless guy, he like slapped his girl or something. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And then he kind of runs off. And then Andrew was like, dude, what are you doing? That guy could like have AIDS.
Yeah. Like,
First thing, exactly.
yeah, you don't engage. Don't engage.
Son, 100%. No, that's the thing I do with the call. Someone just called the police.
Yeah.
If I see crazy people, like especially like a crazy drug couple beefing, I just say, yo, someone just called the police. They're coming to get.
Yeah.
And then they usually chill out. But crazy people, yeah. And I think there's more crazy people, and I think that's because it was during COVID. They couldn't lock them up or something. What was the crazy?
I mean,
This
that's
goes-
probably some part
This
of it.
goes back to deinstitutionalization, which was like shutting down psych wards in the 70s and 80s. And this is sort of like a long-term effect of that, apparently.
Whoa.
Something I've been reading up on in New York City, at
Also,
least.
everything was closed. So the few places that people could get together, you're more congested.
Yeah.
People aren't going to school. You're not doing stuff. You're not getting the energy out. And it was a tough time for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you're going to have an increase in crime.
This is
Also, you
anecdotal.
need
Pandemic.
you need to punish crime. Like I was speaking to even some cops. I was like, "Yo, what's up? Like, what? Like, what do you guys think was going on?" He goes, "The problem is like we arrest them and then they don't
The DA.
they don't we arrest them and then they get released. It's like a catch and release situation.
Yeah,
they
I forgot
don't
what it's called.
Yeah, actually,
No post bail.
Yeah, but they don't actually punish them for the crimes. Like they don't actually take them to court.
Mm-hmm.
So they know that. So there's no way to disincentivize them from doing
Remember
the crime.
that Freakonomics?
Yeah.
It just like statistically went through like theories. And they talked about broken window theory and like
Yeah.
statistically didn't make that big of an impact. Biggest thing they said that made New York safer was locking up more criminals for longer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that has negative effects as well. But in general, that was the biggest statistical driver toward a safer New York.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need to actually punish crimes. If you do something illegal, you should be punished for it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Everyone agrees with it.
And everybody agrees with it.
You have Rikers that's just overpopulated, but then no one wants to build more prisons in their backyard. So it's like, how can we lock up more people?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, anecdotally, I do. This isn't crime, but I do like I see way more just like heroin being shot up out on the streets. I remember walking. I don't know where I was walking one day, but I saw like 3 different groups of people shooting up heroin. Saw a homeless guy with just like shit on him, piece of intestine coming out of it. It was
I
like
think
a
you're
fucking
just more aware.
no.
I think when you were young and just hungry.
Buddy, I moved here at 25.
No,
I
no, but
did not
you
know
have to
heroin
understand,
had
he
it.
moved at the peak.
See, I moved in the safest.
He
So I
doesn't
think a lot of us
know,
are also
like,
spoiled.
you're like a lot of people, which like you don't know New York as dangerous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what it was. I know I didn't move at that time. I know I moved when it was safe, and I don't think it's what it was. But I think it's not as safe as it was when I moved here.
Homelessness
I think 08 to 19.
Super high. It's at the highest since the Great Depression.
What is? In New York.
Homelessness in New York
You know,
City.
probably
Yeah,
helps
but
if
there's
you gave
other-
squatters' rights to people.
Yeah, there's the other thing with the homelessness, which is like, and I think we've spoken about this on the pod, but like New York has a right to shelter. It's the biggest city. It's the only big city in the country that has a right to shelter program, which is for our homeless. But now the migrants found out about it and they're like, yo, if we're in America, we might as well go to that place that puts you up in a fucking home or a nice hotel. That's way better than just living on the street in Arizona. I'd rather go to New York and live in the fucking Pennsylvania hotel or whatever the shit is across from MSG that's completely filled with migrants. So they're taking advantage of a homeless policy that was already at its limit. And now we have 50% more people in that program and no more beds.
Yeah.
So it is a manipulation. It is fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's not for them, and they're taking advantage of it. And they're taking beds from people who are actually homeless in New York and dealing with things. And homelessness isn't something that you exist in full time. You can fluctuate in and out of homelessness. And the idea of giving somebody a shelter, giving somebody a roof is maybe they can get back on their feet, they can get a job, and they can get back in the workforce.
Yeah.
So there are all these different things that like combines make it look crazier. But what we're used to, the crazy of like the fucking insane crazy that this city was growing up, I'm sorry, it's not there.
I think most of us know it's not, but I don't think people want it to get.
I don't think
back
so.
to
I don't
that.
think so.
I don't think so, Akash. I actually
ask
think in the
people
same way
outside
that
of
like
New York.
we look at LA and we look at San Francisco and we look at Portland and we're like, what the fuck has happened to these cities? The people from there don't look at it like that. Like when I was in LA and I was asking people about it, they're like, no, not really. We don't really notice that big a deal. Like, yeah, it was a little bit whatever, but it's not that crazy. But if you look at how we view LA and how everybody outside LA, we're like, it's tents everywhere. Every part of it's destroyed. They're all drug addicts.
You're asking
The
an
whole
LA
city's
person, they're
full.
like, yeah, we're not in New York.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do
They
you
go.
mean?
They literally said we're not San Francisco. Like you don't. You're used to it. You've compartmentalized it in your brain. You're like, yeah, there's the Skid Row tent thing, so it doesn't really affect us. But the way that the world is putting out information and the world is consuming it without having anything to reject it is completely different. And that's the case with New York as well.
Yeah. So there's this kid actually that's trying to like fight homelessness. It's very interesting. Australian kid. And he's been picked up by all the right wing media sites because his thing is he posts the address of vacant homes. Yeah. He's an Australian dude. His name's Geordie, I believe. He posts all these addresses in Australia, like, hey guys, vacant homes. If anyone wants to go and squat in these, you can. Yeah. And he's like being like the point person to get homeless people or people that want homes into vacant homes.
Wow.
And he's like ideologically like vacant homes are theft and you shouldn't have vacant homes and it's fucked up. And he's like anti-landlord type vibe, I think. I don't want to mischaracterize.
Wow.
That's interesting.
And so he's just like, yo, go take these homes. Who gives
We
a
gotta
shit?
take this kid out.
How long have been vacant? That's my question.
Akash got a limit. 10 years, it could happen.
Yeah.
So all this is to say, my assumption of this, in my opinion, obviously squatting is fucked up. Obviously people that are like doing this shit aren't even squatting. They're just breaking and entering or trespassing for extended periods of times or holdover tenants, and that's fucked up. And there should be a way for landlords to get people out in a speedy manner that actually like preserves their property.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of this is getting picked up right now because it's an election year. And I think that these stories specifically resonate with one specific political aisle, and they're like, "Oh, this is fucked up. These
100%.
fucking tenants are crazy. The entitlement from these people, these drug addicts, da da da." And it's getting people emotionally fired up in a time where you need people to vote.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think's going to handle tenants better than Donald Trump? Right? Like, if there's one person that is literally built to solve this problem, it's the guy that spent the majority of his life dealing with tenants.
You're fired.
Yeah.
That guy.
You know, so yeah, wow. Ooh.
So yeah, that's what I think.
I wonder if that's an interesting strategy. If you could like embolden, if you could prop up certain stories that have kind of always percolated but never really had the spotlight on them or attention. If you could prop up the stories that people subconsciously feel like their candidate would solve. So now you don't even need to go vote for Trump.
Migrant crisis.
Yeah, well, of course, right? It's to build the wall.
Yeah.
The squatting's right.
Critical race theory. Yeah.
So it's like, that's a really subversive way to get people to vote for you without telling them. Because back in the day, ads are like, there's a problem. This guy's going to solve it. Now you actually separate the guy and the problem. You already know what he's synonymous for. Build up these problems and then have them look for hope. And then you go, oh, that guy's probably more hopeful at solving those problems.
Yeah.
And then they feel they've made the decision.
And it doesn't feel like an ad.
It doesn't feel like an ad.
Yeah.
That is subversive
Some
shit.
people do it even more
This guy's
subversive.
tough on crime. And so now let's make everybody feel like crime is up.
Yeah, exactly. Some people
You're
do it
100% right.
even more subversive. You remember that documentary Great Hack? It was like about Russian interference in the elections, da da da.
Okay.
There was this guy that in one specific place in Alabama, I believe, he was a Democrat guy. And he was like, or a Democrat like lobbyist. He was like working for the Democrats, trying to get a Democrat guy elected.
Yeah.
He started running Facebook ads saying that the Republican dude was going to ban alcohol. So he was like, vote for, Roy, what's his name? He's going to ban alcohol, turn Alabama into a dry state. This is what we need to preserve our Christian America, da da da. And middle ground, like Republicans
We're
saw
like,
that.
fuck that.
And they're like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's genius.
Like, I don't want these gay
I
people.
1,000% fall for that.
But I want to drink a beer at a football game.
And it seems pure because the guy's going, vote for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not it is actually an attack ad.
Literally.
But it is veiled as support.
Mischaracterizing his policies. And so as a result, all these like middle of the road Republicans were like, all right,
that's too
vote
extreme.
for this guy. Let me go for this Democrat dude.
brilliant.
And he was able to say like, okay, the ad got like, 2 million clicks or some shit like that. That specific election decided like the state, and that election was won by 1%.
Get the fuck out of
So
here.
he's like,
So he swayed the election.
he believes he's like through Facebook ads and through like mischaracterizing the opponent, I was able to sway the election.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
What year was it?
Especially with the super PACs, they're not supposed to be
2016,
in
I think.
contact with the candidate. Like you see the shit that happened with RFK that he didn't know about the commercial. But it's like if the super PAC does some shit, it's like
does some
I ain't
shit.
know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen all the
I
time.
bet you it does. I bet you some of the conversations we're having right now have been manipulated by it. Because you can throw bots at it. Like, that's the other thing. Like, you can make stories seem way bigger than they are. You can make comments seem way more than they are just by throwing bots at it. So the views are up. The shares, I don't know if you know if the bots can share. Maybe they can. I don't know. But they can definitely game the algo.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's really interesting. Now I'm looking at this like, what are they doing for Biden? Like, why aren't the Democrats obviously, or if the Republicans are doing it, the Democrats are doing it. Maybe they're doing it in different ways. So what are the stories that they're promoting that make us feel like Biden would solve these problems better?
No, they're doing the anti-Trump stories. So he's a criminal. He's indicted. He's
Well, then
this,
they're
he's
not playing the game right.
Yeah.
Because it's more subversive.
You got to
just-
go at abortion rights again.
Ooh, because that actually did that
That's
worked
the
against
reason they won the
Republicans.
midterm. Everybody thought Republicans were going to wash Democrats in the midterms. Then the abortion Supreme Court ruling happened,
Oh gosh, that's fucking
and
good.
people were like, and I saw it. We all saw it happen in real time, where it's like, oh, that's the only reason they won. They got more seats than everybody thought.
And Trump just had a misstep. I feel a misstep.
What'd he do?
Like he went on Truth Social and was like, "Oh, I'm the guy. I'm the reason for Roe v. Wade being overturned." Like
he doubled
think-
down.
He doubled
I
down
think he
and
said,
took,
but it should be up to the states. And he said, I also believe in exceptions for rape, incest. I'm pretty sure he said
Yeah.
that, which
so now
hardcore,
it's like,
right?
hardcore people don't fuck with that.
But I think a lot of moderate people will be like, okay.
But that was the miscalculation from that Akash was just talking about, where there was supposed to be this red wave, and they really leaned into anti-abortion propaganda and or just the philosophy of anti-abortion, and it didn't really reflect in the polls.
If that Supreme Court ruling happened 6 months later, they had had their seats done.
And I think that a lot of maybe the Republican think tanks started to go, maybe Republicans don't really care that much about abortion, or
But
maybe
it
they
seems
kind
like
of.
he's trying to play both sides on this one. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm responsible for taking it away, but then also I'm like,
That is
you
the-
guys can do your thing.
That is the fucking game, though. I never considered that. You don't need to pitch a candidate once the candidate is known and what his beliefs are. You need to pitch a candidate when you don't know what they stand for. Everybody kind of knows Trump and what he stands for already. So the marketing can be even more subversive. Convince people that they should be afraid of these things that this guy can solve better without even connecting them to this guy. You know, that's some really interesting shit. Like, if Biden is going to be soft on China, convince us that China is the biggest threat to our country and our democracy.
Yeah.
Well, we already know what Biden's going to do. I don't know if we do, but we know that guy Trump was going to be hard on China. So I guess I have to.
Yeah. That would work on me. That's a fear I have.
It's
That would work
like
on me.
you could
prey on
look.
the fear.
You've seen it. You've seen it a lot of times happen with Jews in Israel, right? That is a really important thing for them, and they're looking at the two candidates, and they're like, you even saw Michael Rappaport, who's literally shit nonstop on Trump for fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
Now, because of what's happening in Israel Palestine, he's like, voting for Donald Trump is on the table. He's called Donald Dick Stain, Donald Trump, the biggest corrupt, the worst motherfucker for 8 years now, and because Donald Trump has been more supportive of Israel than he believes the Biden administration has been, he's like, now that's on the table.
Yeah.
So so Trump doesn't even have to go, hey, vote for me, because the problem exists here, and they're looking for the solution, and they just pick one or the other. It's kind of like a really subversive. Whoa,
That's the game. We're all part of it.
it really is.
That's crazy.
And we're all gameable.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
what's
all
crazy.
gameable.
Yo,
And when you, my like rule is like when I feel myself being like, oh, this is fucked up.
it ain't.
That's when I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, what's going on
Yeah, I
here?
gotta look into it. Like when I feel myself get emotionally triggered, that's when I'm like, all right.
We are our parents with the fucking call. When I feel like getting $10 million from a Nigerian prince is too good, I got to look into this a little bit. When it feels too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the story feels too
The
salacious.
transvisibility, I was like, what the fuck? And I was
Son,
like, okay, whatever.
I spoke about that on Rogan. It's so funny. People refuse. This is how terrifying echo chambers are. I spoke about it on Rogan, and I spoke about it, I thought, quite comprehensively. I was like, guys, this is not by design by the administration. I doubt they even want this.
They doubled down on it, but
They doubled down on it because it was already
the thing.
a thing. They didn't, right? Like if it wasn't a thing, they wouldn't have doubled down on it. They wouldn't have switched it to replace Easter. They wouldn't go, we have a better day. But it just so happened that it landed on the same day as Easter, and they're like, fuck, we gotta, right? I had Twitter accounts going, this is wrong. Just flat out, what Andrew is saying here is wrong. No explanation or anything.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong. It's actually right, what we're saying. The date was decided 15 years ago. They acknowledged it, 7 years ago? Or so maybe it was 3 or whatever the fuck it was. But still,
Bro, I talked to a dude about political bias and how it fucks up your understanding and your ability to literally do like measurable mathematics. If you give people 2 math equations, this guy was a researcher at NYU, a psychologist that literally did the experiment. You give people 2 math equations, okay? One math equation basically is like, hey, does this skin cream, is it beneficial for controlling this rash that people have? And here's the data set, and here's the sample, and tell us if it's conclusive or not. People, when they had the math equation, were able to solve it with like 99% accuracy.
wow.
And then when they gave them an equation that said, hey, gun control in this place, these are the stats when you have gun control, here's what happens with gun control, here's the data, do an equation. And they gave some people data where the gun control benefited like their position, that like gun control was good, and then other people gave them gun control was bad. And depending on what their political leaning was, they weren't able to do the math equation.
Bro, that's
Or at the very least, it took like 3 times as long for the average person to do the math equation.
One, I completely believe it. 2, I also think there are people that can do the math equation, but know where their bread is buttered, and they refuse to deviate from where their bread is buttered. Also, if there's anybody deviating from where their bread is buttered, they will do everything they can to dismiss or discredit that point of view.
It's like when Daily Show sends their correspondents to like a rally, and then they're like asking them about like policies and stuff like that, and then they're saying things that would force the person to have to go against their policy.
And they're like, I don't know, I know what you're talking about.
All of a sudden, they don't know how to talk.
It's
so crazy.
But like if you were given data that's like comedy's hateful and should be banned in America, here's the data to support it.
I'd be like, this is wrong. This data's
You can't like there's no way. And people feel so passionately about all of these political issues that they can't see the math properly.
I 100% get that, and I understand the frustration. But it's those accounts that profit off of or brand around these ideas, going out of their way to discredit. Because I'm on this big platform, I'm on Rogan, and we're having this conversation that is nuanced, and they feel the need to discredit it because it goes against the narrative that they have put out there in the world, knowing that it's fake. I just couldn't believe it. I thought this one was going to be one where, okay, we just ignore it. By we, I mean they. They just ignore it. They're like, oh, let's just ignore this one. Yeah, this is kind of true. We kind of ran with this thing, but it's kind of bullshit. Andrew Schultz is wrong.
They don't care.
I feel like they convinced themselves that you're wrong.
Yo, you might be right. They're
truly.
I think they're so locked in. Okay, I thought that they
I
were
don't
just.
think it's nefarious shit like
That's the thing.
I can't.
I think there are nefarious actors.
I'm sure there are some, but I think the majority.
We were actually talking about 2 of them early in this podcast. Yeah.
J. Cole. are not nefarious actors.
You're right. Yeah.
Listen, guys, we gotta get out of here, man. This has been another fantastic episode of Flagrant. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you Friday on Patreon and then next week. Peace.